Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Era of Gaowu. Comprehension at the beginning increases by 100,000 times. Chapter 41. On the field. Liang Cheng stared at Zhang Yuan, his teeth chattering. I won't be careless this time, I will make you pay the price. After saying that, he put on a fighting stance with a solemn and focused expression. Go crazy. In front of everyone, black and red firework-like energy and blood emanated from Liang Cheng's body. His muscles bulged and his body swelled, exuding a powerful momentum. It's the Berserk Warrior's madness skill, someone exclaimed. After turning it on, all attributes plus 20%. The disadvantage is that it can only last for 3 minutes. He will use his full strength this time. As expected of a hidden profession, it is indeed much stronger than a warrior. This is not over yet. After becoming mad, Liang Cheng took out a big knife from his backpack, stretched out his hand and waved it. The sound of wind and thunder sounded, the sharp edge split the air, and the shadow of the knife was thick. I'm quite willing to give up a rare piece of equipment. Ji Feiyui raised her eyebrows. Seeing Liang Cheng in a mad state and holding a rare weapon, Chen Hao couldn't help but swallow. It's too foul to use rare weapons against bare hands. Yuanzi shouldn't die. He hasn't finished speaking yet. Then they saw Liang Cheng on the field stomping his feet hard, lightning arcs flashing under his feet, and he instantly flashed in front of Zhang Yuan, slashing down with the big knife in his hand. The wind roared, and the lightning arcs exploded. Zhang Yuan turned sideways slightly, the blade fell, and the thunderous sword energy left a straight crack of more than 10 meters long on the ground. In Qiu's live broadcast room, Barrages kept passing after watching this scene. 66,666. What a powerful force. It's the main martial arts of Thunder Martial Arts School, Wind and Thunder Sword. Swinging a sword makes thunder sound like 1,000 birds chirping in unison. He must have reached the level of Xiao Cheng. This man named Liang Cheng is indeed not simple. I don't know how the opponent should respond to such a violent sword technique. Zhang Yuan turned sideways, leaned back, and dodged 2 knives in succession. Do you think hiding is useful? Liang Cheng laughed ferociously. Ming Lei. A dark shadow swarmed under Zhang Yuan's feet. The moment he lowered his head, black thunder and lightning rushed out of the shadow like an insidious snake and wrapped around Zhang Yuan's body. Liang Cheng shook his free hand. Underworld thunder explosion. Boom. Accompanied by a loud noise, the thunder explosion covered an area of more than 10 meters, the arc exploded, and smoke filled the air. What an amazing power. It's worthy of being an A-level talent. Some viewers lamented. It's fast and weird enough. It's too difficult to dodge. If the fragile assassin takes this hit, I'm afraid his health bar will bottom out. Did it hit? What's the result? Don't even think about it, he must be scarred. As the audience looked forward to it, the smoke and dust dispersed. Zhang Yuan's figure, still with his hands in his coat pockets, reappeared, and what surprised people was that not only was he not injured, his clothes were not even torn. Unscathed. How so? What did he do? Liang Cheng made an ugly expression. Zhang Yuan put his hands in his coat pockets and walked towards Liang Cheng in front of him. Is this your full strength? Even with the blessing of rare equipment, you are still too weak. So weak that I can't even see the difference between you and me. His tone was calm, as if he was telling the truth. But to Liang Cheng's ears, it was naked ridicule. In his berserk state, he was furious, roaring like a beast, his eyes red. Shut up. Underworld thunder. 3 mysterious lightning strikes from the ground snaked towards Zhang Yuan. Liang Cheng dodged and came to his side. The sword wrapped in strong blood energy was ready to slash down hard. 4 attacks came at the same time. Zhang Yuan still didn't take out his hands, but just stamped his right foot forward. Boom. As if an ancient giant elephant stepped down its hoof, the ground shook with great force and dented. Countless cracks spread in all directions, and the terrifying and overbearing impact forcefully tore apart the incoming thunder. Liang Cheng was also in shock, and was thrown away by the oncoming shock wave, landing heavily on the ground. Just raised his head. Then he saw a pair of blazing golden eyes in the distance. A terrible pressure of will fell on his shoulders, causing him to fall uncontrollably. His legs landed heavily on the ground, and he faced Zhang Yuan as if he was kneeling down. This scene shocked everyone present. Chen Hao and Zheng Hang all opened their mouths. Yang Yue covered her mouth, and Luo's eyes shone brightly. Qiyu looked shocked, and the barrage in the live broadcast room also ushered in a short break. Wang Xinlong stood up and roared, "Liang Cheng, what are you doing? Stand up for me." "Ah!" Liang Cheng screamed desperately and struggled to stand up. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed again, and the mental shock came like a surging wave. Even though most of the mental shock was blocked by the defensive accessories he carried with him, Liang Cheng still felt his brain stinging and burning, and the pain was unbearable. In severe pain, with bleeding eyes, he struggled to stand up unsteadily with a knife in his hand. Zhang Yuan shook his head and sighed. He even wore spiritual defense accessories. He was really well prepared. "You could have suffered less. Pity. Shut up, I am the genius, trash like you are not my opponent at all." "Ah!" Liang Cheng, who was about to be released from his mad state, shook his body and raised the long knife in his hand. With his face covered in blood, he used the skill of pressing the bottom of the box. Bloody wrath. Boom. With the hot energy and blood burning, Liang Cheng stamped his feet, jumped up high, held the handle of the knife with both hands and slashed out the third style of the Fengling Dao. The falling knife attracts wind and thunder. Click, click. There seemed to be a real thunderbolt entwining between the sword blades above the venue. The amazing momentum made many spectators who had bet on Liang Cheng concentrate their attention and look forward to it. But not before the thunder knife in his hand fell. Zhang Yuan's figure flashed and suddenly appeared in front of Liang Cheng. Varied. Liang Cheng opened his eyes wide and had not yet reacted. Then he saw a whip leg sweeping towards him with the sound of roaring wind, and landed on his face with unparalleled power. His face was instantly distorted. Bang! With an explosion in the air, Zhang Yuan volleyed Liang Cheng out of the air like he was kicking a football. Whoosh! Liang Cheng's body was tilted and hit the ground like a meteor. Bang! A huge hole 2 meters deep was blasted into the field. Quote. The whole place was silent again. There was silence. Almost everyone stared at this scene with their mouths wide open. The disciples of Thunder Martial Arts School had stiff smiles on their faces, not knowing how to react. Forehead. Mr. Huo stepped forward to check. He looked at Liang Cheng, whose eyes were white and miserable in the pit, and made a judgment. He has lost consciousness and lost the ability to fight. This competition is won by Chongming Martial Arts School. There was still no reaction from the audience. Huo Laochong smiled at Zhang Yuan and said, "Young man, you really hide your secrets. It seems that a dark horse will emerge from the college entrance examination this time. Mr. Huo deserves the award." Zhang Yuan smiled, turned around and left, still looking as lazy as he had his hands in his pockets and hadn't woken up. The whole place was still silent. How is this possible? How is this possible? From Liang Cheng bursting out with surprising combat power, to being killed in an instant. Everything happens in 2 seconds. Seeing all this, Wang Xinlong, whose emotions fell from the sky to the ground, completely collapsed and almost breathed out a mouthful of old blood. Xu Yian did not forget the bet and smiled at him. "Director Wang, don't forget to send rare equipment and skill books to Chongming Martial Arts Hall." This last hit completely defeated Wang Xinlong's psychological defense. I thought that Liang Cheng's breakthrough to the first-level warrior would be a sure win. He spent a lot of money to create momentum, which required traffic, martial arts, beauties, martial arts, and students. However, he didn't expect that it turned out to be like this. As a result, my grandma didn't even acknowledge the direct compensation. Not only was this all out of the question, but it would also damage the reputation of the martial arts gym, and it would also cost valuable rare equipment and skill books. Thinking of my loss this time. Wang Xinlong was so angry that he was trembling all over. He pointed at Xu Yian, rolled his eyes, fell backward, and fainted in public. The disciples of Thunder Martial Arts School were shocked. Director. It wasn't until Zhang Yuan, Xu Yian and others left that anyone in the venue came back to their senses and whispered in shock. Who could have imagined this outcome? Another instant kill. The disciples of Thunder Martial Arts School don't even have the ability to resist. The gap is too big. This disciple from Chongming Martial Arts School is too fierce. It's unbelievable that such a genius didn't have any fame before. It's unbelievable. You looked at him and made him kneel down with just one look. I can guarantee that his awakened talent is definitely A-level talent or above, possibly S-level talent. Isn't he already at the second level? What is the origin of this Chongming martial arts school? Chen Hao opened his mouth and didn't move for a long time. His expression was completely dull, and the illusion of explosion kept coming from his temples, making his scalp numb. Is this still the same Yuanzi I know? This is too strong. What happened to him? Zhang Heng was also in a daze, watching Zhang Yuan leave the martial arts gym in a daze. Unconsciously, he has reached such a height. It's. Yang Yue held her hands on her chest, her eyes were shining with love. You are so handsome. He's handsome and good at fighting. I really want to date him. Ignoring the nymphomaniac bestie beside her, Luo Shi took off her glasses and looked at Zhang Yuan's leaving back with a hint of curiosity in her eyes. Sure enough, it's the spiritual system. I wonder which one is stronger, his spiritual talent or mine. Zhang Yuan, Ji Feiyue and others returned to Chongming Martial Arts School. Although I knew you could win for a long time, I didn't expect it to be so easy. Roy sat cross-legged on the floor, holding a can of beer in his hand. It's a pity that I didn't even see your skills. Lei Na said excitedly. I heard from Ian that you are already LV9. It turns out that you are so strong now. Do you want to try a fight with me? Her sharp eyes shone with excitement. Zhang Yuan was also a little moved. The third-level shadowless assassin can just be used to verify his current strength. Stop making trouble, Reina, Ji Feiyue said. Don't you still have work to do? Ooh, Reina slapped her head. I still have to deliver food. If you didn't tell me, I would have completely forgotten about it. I still have to deliver food, so I'll leave first. Brother Zhang Yuan, see you next time. After saying that, she disappeared without a trace, and even Zhang Yuan only saw a wisp of black shadow. Today is really disgusting. I'm treating you today. Let's go to Ziyu Pavilion for dinner together. Xu Yian, who could not hide the smile on his face, said to everyone. Roy raised his hands excitedly. Yeah, it's rare for Sister Yian to treat us to a guest, and it's Ziyu Pavilion, so you're welcome. Zhang Yuan has only heard of Ziyu Pavilion. It is a high-end restaurant with a per capita of over 10,000 yuan. It only accepts warriors who have made reservations. Ji Feiyue smiled and said, although I am borrowing Zhang Yuan's help, the opportunity is rare, so we are not polite. I still have money to treat you to a meal. By the way, there are these. Xu Yian traded a chain-shaped rare weapon and a skill book to Zhang Yuan. You won these in the first place. They should belong to you. Zhang Yuan did not refuse, and accepted it generously. After checking the properties, he found that it was not suitable for him, so he entrusted Ji Feiyue to help sell it. Ji Feiyue smiled and nodded in agreement, and said, you are now in the guild group. If you have things that are no longer useful in the future, you can put them in the guild warehouse first. Others can buy or trade them directly if they need them. The same goes for you. If you need anything, you can trade it from them. I see. Zhang Yuan nodded. Besides these, I do have two other things. He took out the bone gun and the blood lion ring. After the properties are highlighted. Ji Feiyue was a little surprised. It's the tail spine of a bone beast. I didn't expect you could get such a good thing. Although it is first order, the price is very high in the market and it is quite rare. Ordinary top-quality ring-type equipment is also rare. It seems that you have gained quite a lot from going into the abyss this time. Are you going to sell them all? As for the bone gun, I want to reforge it. If no one in the guild uses the blood lion ring, I will sell it. Zhang Yuandao. Ji Feiyue nodded. Although the attributes are good, the level is too low, so I'd better sell it. I happen to know a blacksmith for forging weapons, so leave these two tasks to me. Thank you, President. Ji Feiyue's eyes flashed slightly when she heard this, and her seductive upper body wrapped in a white dress pressed forward, approaching Zhang Yuan, and exhaled softly. As a condition of helping, you are not allowed to call me President again, it sounds too cold. Call me Sister Feiyue. The distance between the two at this moment can be called close. If they lower their heads for a moment, their eyes will be sucked away by the snow-white ravine close at hand. Zhang Yuan's face looked a little unnatural. Okay. Sister Feiyue, I'll leave it to you. Haha, I'm blushing. Roy teased while drinking beer, and slapped Zhang Yuan's back hard with his hand. You are so innocent. Lan Shui also covered her mouth and smiled softly. Everyone went to Ziyu Pavilion together in a cheerful atmosphere and had a big meal. It was not until night that Zhang Yuan and Xu Yian returned to the martial arts gym. Before leaving, Roy, who was drunk, hugged Xu Yian and said, "Sister Yian, you are not allowed to attack little brother Zhang Yuan while living together. No, otherwise I won't be able to spare you." "Tai, I can't do that." Xu Yian's face turned red. She secretly glanced at Zhang Yuan, only to find that he had fallen asleep leaning against the car window. "Isn't the alcohol content of Liyuan liquor a bit too high for minors?" Ji Feiyue looked at him and smiled. "Maybe. Sister Feiyue, is the date determined for the next time we go into the abyss?" Xu Yian asked. "Well, just in these few days." Then Zhang Yuan. "This time he is going to the 4th level abyss. His level is still too low, and he also has to prepare for the college entrance examination. Let's forget it this time," Ji Feiyue said with a smile. Xu Yian nodded, she had the same idea. "Then let's go back first." "Well, please be safe on the road." At the same time, with the live broadcast of the host Kuyu, the battle spread on the Star Network. Zhang Yuan's handsome appearance coupled with his lazy and mysterious temperament, as well as his incredible fighting methods and his ability to kill Liang Cheng twice instantly attracted a lot of people's attention, and his fame index increased. Lin Qingyan, who returned home from the abyss, saw this news online and said while drinking coffee, "What lessons can be learned from that kind of rubbish, and it causes such a big battle. If you have time to do this kind of thing, you might as well go to the abyss to kill monsters and level up." Remembering what happened in the abyss, her delicate snow-white face couldn't help but be covered with another layer of frost. "That fool, do you think you can beat me once and keep suppressing me forever? Just wait for me." Xia family manor. Zhang Yuan, the 5th genius. There is no point in paying attention to these things. In the huge training room, there were 10-meter-long ravines everywhere. Xia Qinghu, who was covered in sweat, turned his back to the housekeeper and said calmly, "Among my peers, no matter who they are, they only deserve to see my back." Outside Nanjiang City, somewhere in the suburbs, Qin Nansen, who was sitting on a stone in the distance, looked at the tablet in his hand and raised the corners of his mouth. "Oh, Zhang Yuan is quite interesting." Boom, boom, boom. The ground shook. Roar. 3 huge pig-headed men rushed towards him holding giant axes. Qin Nansen didn't even look at it, but raised his sword with his hand. Whoosh whoosh, swish, swish, swish. 6 black iron swords flew up, and the sword light crisscrossed, like a hot knife cutting through tofu, and the health bars of the 3 huge pig-headed men were instantly cleared. "I don't know how many times he can withstand my swords." Qin Nansen's eyes showed a trace of interest. "I'm really looking forward to it." Baihei Group, in a room in the basement. Lin Junhao was lying naked in the turquoise liquid bath, with a spoiled woman lying next to him. He raised his arm, and green branches like willows emerged from the flesh and blood, swayed, and pierced into the liquid as if they were alive. He started to drink, and one of them pierced the body of the beautiful woman beside him. Her face was full of joy, but her body was rapidly drying up, and she turned into a mummy in just a few seconds. She still had a satisfied smile on her face before she died, which was extremely weird. "Power, I feel power surge inside me." Lin Junhao absorbed it greedily. His handsome face as pale as paper was full of evil spirits, which was very different from the one during the awakening ceremony. "No one can be my opponent in this martial arts college entrance examination, ha 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 ha. Gucci Gucci." When he laughed wantonly, the flesh and blood on the back of his head turned, and a single purple eye squirmed out. Even Father Zhang, who was stationed outside the city, heard about what happened in the city. He was also surprised that the name of this genius was exactly the same as his son. "Could he be your son?" a comrade said with a smile. "How is it possible? My son has only awakened E-level talent. It would be great if he had this ability." Zhang Damu sighed. "Then I can wake up laughing even when I sleep." "Haha, that's right. Monday school. Mo Shishi just arrived in class. My friend Shu Qing came over in a hurry." "Shishi, I remember your cousin's name is Zhang Yuan, right?" Mo Shishi's heart skipped a beat. Does she know that Brother Yuan has become a first-level warrior? Yes, what's wrong?" The girl next to Shu Qing said. "It shouldn't be possible, it must be just a coincidence." Yes, with Shishi's personality, if it was really her cousin, she would have been able to show off. What does this mean? Mo Shishi became angry. I won't say yes to everything, for example. Like what? Mo Shishi still remembered Dao Yufeng's warning, and refrained from telling her cousin's story. Instead, she said, "No, it's nothing. You guys are acting weird today. What are you talking about?" Shu Qing and the other two looked at each other. Shu Qing Dao. It's a challenge between the disciples of Thunder Martial Arts School and Chongming Martial Arts School. Isn't it very popular on the internet? Didn't you see it? I didn't look. What's wrong? Mo Shishi was telling the truth. After being stimulated by Zhang Yuan in the past 2 days, and in order to absorb the power of the genetic medicine, she rarely surfed the internet and exercised seriously. Shu Qing told the story again, and Mo Shishi's mouth opened wide. I didn't expect Brother Yuan to do such a thing just after leaving home. What about not attracting attention? Seeing her look like this, Shu Qing said to the other two girls, it seems that he is not her cousin. The two of them breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. This puts us at ease. If Shishi has a cousin who is so handsome and so powerful, then I will die of envy. I said it's impossible. Just think about it and you'll know that her cousin is just an E-level talented assassin who changed jobs. How could he transform into a top 5 super genius in Nanjing City? Hey, what do you mean? Mo Shishi said angrily. It's nothing, don't worry about it. Shu Qing and the other three ran away laughing. During cultural class, the teacher was telling the history above. Mo Shishi was sitting in her seat, secretly watching the live video on her mobile phone. The more she looked at it, the more admiration she felt in her eyes. As expected of Brother Yuan, he is so handsome. Don't talk about this Liang Cheng, even Xia Qinghu, who is known as the #1 genius in Nanjing City, is no match for Brother Yuan. Mo Shishi's delicate, snow-white face was filled with admiration. In her heart, her cousin was the most powerful one. She secretly glanced at Shu Qing and others not far away, and couldn't help but lower her head and chuckle. Idiots like Qing don't know that he is my cousin. After my cousin takes the college entrance examination, let's see if I don't scare you to death. He. In the Chongming Martial Arts Gym, Zhang Yuan, who had no idea about his rising fame, was on the phone with his mother Dao Chunru. Mom, how are you doing recently? How is your work? I'm fine. You know the work of a nurse, so you don't have time to spare. What about you? Have you spent enough money recently? Has your father given you money? If it's not enough, just tell your mother. Gentle the voice came from the other end of the communicator. Looking at his tired mother on the communicator screen, Zhang Yuan moved his lips, but still didn't say anything. After a while, if I'm not busy, I'll see if I can take a leave and go to Nanjing City to see you. Well, don't force it, I'm doing very well now. By the way, I sent you something, remember to pick it up. I know, a patient has been brought here. I'll go and get busy first, and I'll hang up first. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Yuan calmed down and opened his attribute panel. Character: Zhang Yuan. Race: human race. Age: 17. Level: first level warrior LV9. Occupation: God of War myth. Talent: infinite amplification original supreme analysis God level immortal phoenix flame SSS. Physical strength: 1990. Power: 2010. Speed: 1980. Spirit: 2250. Lucky: 5. Passive specialization. Limit of power: all attributes increase 10 times in normal state, increase 30 times in dying state. Divine evasion: a long-range special attack that requires holding a weapon and consuming half of your physical strength to perform it. It ignores defense and cannot be evaded. The critical damage caused can reach 1000%. Cooling time: 30 minutes. Explosion star: explodes the whole body's energy and blood and enters the explosion star state. In this state, 1% of physical strength is consumed every second, all negative effects are removed, and any control is ignored. Defense is increased by 1000%, attack speed is increased by 500%, and critical hits are increased 300%, no cooldown time. Super speed: consume a certain amount of physical energy and flash to the target's side, cannot be controlled by control skills. The range increases with the level, current range is 1000 meters. Cooling time: 2.5 seconds. Refreshed after killing the target. Cultivation methods. Ripple Force Generation Method, Immortal Body Training Method SSS, Fire Breathing Method SSS, Great Sun Polar Thoughts SSS. Martial Skill. Sky Splitting Strike 3-star Secret Critical Hit with Real Damage, Damage Value plus 150%, with Cutting Effect. Equipment. Crimson Bracers Rare. Item. None. Remaining Free Attribute Points 0. Remaining Merit Points 357. After comprehending the idea of observing the sun and stars, Zhang Yuan absorbed the mutant crystal of the spiritual system, and his spiritual attributes exceeded the 2,200 threshold. Now all he needs is a look, mental suppression mixed with the pressure of martial arts that is gradually taking shape, which is enough to make people with weak willpower and lack of courage be shocked on the spot, become frightened and even faint. It would be great if there was a spiritual skill book. Zhang Yuan thought to himself. His current mental power is comparable to that of a third-level professional transfer mage. If he has the appropriate skill book, he is believed to be able to explode with terrifying power. I don't know how much the spiritual skill books are on the market. Zhang Yuan checked his current balance. The signing fee for joining Blood Rose plus the sale of rare equipment and skill books from Thunder Martial Arts Hall plus rewards from the Warriors Association and the Inspection Department. Together, these have brought his current balance to an unprecedented and astonishing figure. 113.32 million. Looking at his balance, Zhang Yuan showed a smile of satisfaction and joy on his face. Sure enough, it feels good to have money. With a huge sum of money in his pocket, he logged into the Star Territory and browsed the information in the market and forums wantonly. Find what you need quickly. Zhang Yuan selected 4 better choices. Choose 1. Spiritual Thorn, Skill Book, Intermediate Skill Book, Offensive Spiritual Skill, condenses the spirit into thorns, pierces the enemy's mental barrier, and can cause considerable mental damage to the enemy. Learning conditions. You can only learn it if the mental power attribute is 500. It is suitable for 3rd level to 6th level mental professions. The price is 4.3 million. Choice 2. Dark Fire, Skill Book, Intermediate Skill Book, Attack and Illusion Type Skills, which can cause burning and hallucinatory attacks on the enemy's spirit, affecting their activities. Learning conditions. The mental attribute reaches 500, suitable for 3rd level to 6th level spiritual professions, priced at 5.1 million. Choose 3. Extreme Fear, Skill Book, a mid-level skill book, an illusion type mental skill that can create the terrifying scene that the enemy is most afraid of through illusion, causing huge mental damage to them. Learning conditions. The mental attribute reaches 500, suitable for 3rd level to 6th level mental professions, priced at 4 million. Choose 4. Infinite Cage, Skill Book, a mid-level skill book, an illusion type spiritual skill. Through powerful mental interference, the enemy's will is sealed in an endless dark cage, losing the perception of time and space, and causing huge mental damage to it. Trauma. Learning conditions. The mental attribute reaches 1000, suitable for 5th level to 7th level mental professions, priced at 13 million. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Yuan chose to buy 1 or 2 skill books. The warriors who have changed professions on the Star Network can conduct direct transactions through the Tiandao system. After spending 17.3 million, 2 skill books suddenly appeared in Zhang Yuan's system backpack. Just click to learn. Ding. You use the intermediate skill book to learn the skill, Spiritual Thorn. Ding. You use the intermediate skill book to learn the skill, Infinite Cage. The following few days, Xu Yian followed Ji Feiyue and his gang into the abyss, while Zhang Yuan was training physically and mentally alone in the martial arts gym to prepare for the college entrance examination. In Nanjing City, more than a dozen bizarre massacres of families and injuries of people by warriors who changed their professions occurred one after another, causing people in the city to panic. The Warriors Association and the Inspection Department issued an announcement, saying that the cause had been found and the problem would be solved soon. Please feel safe, people. Zhang Yuan thought about what happened that night and felt a little worried. He sent a message to his aunt's family, asking them to pay attention to safety and try not to go out at night. We understand. You should be more careful when you live outside alone. Don't provoke others all the time. Try to fight with others as little as possible. Dao Yufeng replied. It seemed that she already knew about Zhang Yuan's battle with Liang Cheng. Soon, Time flies by and it's the eve of the college entrance examination. Boom! There was a loud bang. The combat power test machine shook violently, emitted white smoke, and the numbers fluctuated violently, and finally froze. 150,392. The basic damage when using ripple force finally exceeded 150,000. Zhang Yuan had a smile on his face. In terms of single target damage, it's comparable to an average third-level warrior. Zhang Yuan, Sister Feiyue said that your bone gun has been forged and sold to the guild warehouse for you to see for yourself. She also sent you something. A pleasant female voice came from outside. Xu Yian, who returned from the abyss, walked in wearing plain white training clothes and holding a package. She also gained a lot from this trip to the abyss. After breaking the knot in her heart, her marksmanship finally broke through and reached the third level. Clang! Seeing the numbers on the combat power testing machine, the package in her hand fell to the ground. Zhang Yuan opened the guild warehouse and saw the bone gun inside. He took it out and took a look. The originally snow-white and monotonous bone gun was dyed with a touch of dark gold, and its weight, hardness, and sharpness increased several levels. View information. Dark metal bone gun, ordinary top quality, attack plus 10%, attack speed plus 10%, critical hit plus 5%, with damage reduction, spell breaking, and fragmentation effects, durability 100%. Even among ordinary top quality equipment, it has top attributes. Really not bad, Zhang Yuan said happily and put it into the system backpack. What's this? He came over and picked up the package curiously. Only then did Xu Yian come to his senses and said, "It should be the clothes she bought for you. You can take them apart and take a look." Zhang Yuan opened it, and there were indeed several sets of clothes, with top-quality fabrics and high-end brands. They had a Bloody Rose logo tattooed on them. They were all custom-made. These are all tailor-made by senior tailors who have transitioned into a lifestyle career. In addition to being comfortable to wear, slim and beautiful, it also comes with effects such as dust protection and self-repair, and the price of each piece is more than 100,000. Sister Feiyue said that what you were wearing was not of high quality, so I customized some pieces for you to wear when you take the college entrance examination. Xu Yian said with a smile. I feel like I have become a pretty boy being kept by a rich woman. Zhang Yuan said with a bitter smile. A pretty boy can't do 150,000 damage. Xu Yian looked at the combat power testing machine with an expression on his face that he didn't know what to say. I thought I would be able to relax a little when I stepped into the third level. I didn't expect that I would be caught up with you in the blink of an eye. Her current damage without using skills is only over 200,000 points. And Zhang Yuan is currently at LV9. When he reaches LV10, he will also be able to obtain a professional skill at the first and second levels, which will lead to a big improvement. By the time, I'm afraid that the position of the main attacker of my team will be replaced by others. The next day, the day of the college entrance examination, Zhang Yuan returned to school and came to the playground. He saw students wearing various clothes, some wearing warrior armor and carrying big swords. Some have mage robes and mage hats, holding staffs, some carry spears, and some carry bows and arrows, wearing the same clothes as the elves. I can't wait to fill up my entire body with equipment. Can't it be put in the backpack? Zhang Yuan was speechless. He was still wearing the black and white uniform of number 1 middle school, which was simple and plain. The clothes Ji Feiyue sent were good, but they were too eye-catching. Especially a black custom-made windbreaker with the Blood Rose logo printed on it. It looked like an executive in the execution department. It was really conspicuous. Who is he? Are you from Class S? You don't even know him. Zhang Yuan from Class 3 is the one who defeated Liang Cheng. It's him. No wonder he looks so strong. He's really handsome. Hiss. It turns out it's him, a member of the 3rd class, but I remember he only awakened his E-level talent. Do you believe this? He must be hiding his talent. The students in the distance looked sideways, looking at Zhang Yuan and whispering. He stood in the middle of the field, with a handsome and fair face that still had the immature look of a boy, a tall and slender figure, sharp and majestic golden eyes, and an indifferent expression that revealed an invisible coercion and surging momentum that made people dare not approach him. Even in school uniform, he is like a blazing sun in the sky, emitting a dazzling light that no one dares to ignore. Some classmates also saw Zhang Yuan, but did not dare to come forward and say hello. That is, Zhang Yuan. Hiss. Why has he changed so much? I heard that he has already become a first-level warrior. No wonder, just looking at it makes me feel scared, just like seeing those monsters from Class S. Their eyes were filled with awe and adoration. Huang Yi, who was wearing warrior equipment, hunched his neck and hid in the corner, not even daring to take another look at Zhang Yuan, who was like a star over the moon. Now his blood has only reached 5, but Zhang Yuan, whom he once ridiculed and despised, has already become a first-level warrior and defeated Liang Cheng, who was extremely powerful in his eyes. Now he is not even qualified to look up to Zhang Yuan. Those female classmates in the class who used to look down on Zhang Yuan and even talk about his E-level talent were now even more regretful. Handsome, strong, from an average background, and hardworking. Simply a top potential stock. Even if you can't be your girlfriend, if you had shown kindness to him in the beginning, you could still be a friend. Maybe you would become a big shot in the future and change your life with just one sentence. But now, the friendship between his classmates has been ruined by him, and even the chance to get closer is gone. When they thought of this, they felt sour in their hearts. Genko. A familiar voice came from behind. Zhang Yuan turned around and looked with a smile on his face. Haozi, you're here too. Chen Hao came over, spread his hands and shook his head. I don't want to come, but my dad insisted that I come to experience the atmosphere of the college entrance examination, saying that youth leaves no regrets. He looked at his best friend in front of him with emotion. But you have become a bit unrecognizable to me. I saw it last time at the Thunder Martial Arts School. I didn't expect you to become so powerful now. It's really. You're so proud of me. You guy, you're such a dick. He finally couldn't hold back his excitement and rushed over and hugged Zhang Yuan's neck. You don't even know the way those people in school looked at me when they heard that you were my brother. It's so cool. Feeling the long-lost familiar chokehold, Zhang Yuan's face was also full of smiles. Sure enough, no matter when it comes, no matter how much changes have occurred. Friends are friends and they won't change. Not far away, the little thief Guan glanced at the two of them. That guy Zhang Yuan didn't even come to say hello to me after not seeing him for so long. Snort. It has become amazing. If you don't come to me, I won't come to talk to you either. The arrogant girl thought so. Lin Qingyan on the other side also saw Zhang Yuan, and a brilliant starlight flashed in her ice blue right eye, and it disappeared in a flash. It's already LV9. It's one level higher than me. Lin Qingyan thought angrily, and the cold air emanating became stronger and stronger, causing the students around her to move further away from her with frightened expressions. Zhang Yuan. The head teacher Zhang Yiming came over and interrupted the fight between Zhang Yuan and Chen Hao. Teacher Zhang. Zhang Yuan stopped fighting with Chen Hao and still respected the head teacher who had helped him a lot. Zhang Yiming looked at him with a pleased smile. Not bad, the qi, blood and bones are well polished. You also know how to hide your capabilities and bide your time. Even the teacher was deceived by you. Zhang Yuan said embarrassedly. I'm sorry, Teacher Zhang, because my profession is indeed a bit hard to describe. Zhang Yiming waved his hand. It's okay. If it's hard to say, just don't say it. I have always believed that knowing how to hide one's clumsiness when one is weak is a very good quality. Only by knowing how to avoid danger can you climb high and go far. He stepped forward and patted Zhang Yuan on the shoulder. Work hard for the college entrance examination today. I hope to see your name among the top 100. Zhang Yuan smiled and nodded. Soon, Sha Qinghu, Qin Nansen, Lu Oshi and other notable talents also arrived one after another. Principal Lu He appeared on the high platform to explain the exam and give a speech before the exam. Today is the day of the college entrance examination, and it is also an important level that determines your future direction. 3 years of practice are just for today. You will get a teleportation stone later. After the magic circle is opened, the teleportation stone in your hand will be teleported to the examination venue. It is a small copy. Students from the entire Zhang province will go there, and you will be with students from other cities, competing on the same stage. In the dungeon, you need to survive for 3 days. You can form a team or go solo. Everything depends on your strength. If your life is in danger, crush the teleportation stone and you will be teleported back to the place you came from. You can use worn equipment, but you cannot use props. There are no restrictions on the rest of the rules. Please note that you should try to choose trustworthy teammates to avoid being eliminated by others. Killing ferocious beasts or participating in ferocious beasts can earn scores, and people with high scores can also get higher rankings. Students who rank among the top 10 in the province in this college entrance examination will receive additional rewards issued by the Education Bureau. The top 3 will receive generous rewards. Even the principal of me is jealous of the first place reward, ha ha ha. Lu He laughed and said. The students on the playground were also excited after hearing this. Anything you get in a small instance is your loot. The points gained from killing ferocious beasts are very valuable. They can be exchanged for resources in higher education institutions and are worth more than money. The next step is to distribute the teleportation stones. With a wave of the staff in the dean's hand, countless teleportation stones emitting white light fell from the sky and landed accurately in front of each student. Zhang Yuan reached out to catch it, and extraordinary power surged inside. The next trial will be the most important exam in your student days. Wish y'all good luck. Lu He finished speaking. A loud bell sounded from the bell tower of the Warriors Association in the distance, and a huge magic circle appeared in the playground of number 1 middle school, forming a thick white light rising into the sky. No, 2 middle school, number 3 middle school. The same is true for other martial arts high schools, with several white beams of light rushing into the sky. The whole city looked up. Some parents pray secretly, hoping that their children will get good grades in the exam. Xiaoyuan, please be safe. Aunt Dao Yufeng looked at the light beam and said softly. Zhang Damu, who was stationed outside the city, looked up at the sky and prayed secretly. Xiaoyuan, come on. Not only Nanjing City, but also Beijiang City across the river, several beams of teleportation light shot into the sky. If you look at Daxia from a high altitude, you can see the white light pillars rising into the sky on the Daxia territory, which is extremely spectacular. Some terrifying beings opened their eyes, and as soon as they looked at Daxia, their sight was cut off, and several extremely majestic voices came from Daxia and spread throughout the world. Don't cross the line. Roll. Anyone who dares to offend our country will be killed without mercy. One more look and I will destroy your entire Abyss clan. Some terrifying entities retreated, uttering strange sneers before leaving. In the unknown dark abyss, a mountain of tentacles several hundred meters high, as big as a mountain, and covered with one eye, swayed with thousands of tentacles, and emitted a weird laughter that was like a baby crying, enough to cause mental pollution. Cuckoo. Ding. You have arrived at the outer area of the Sea of Trees Secret Realm dungeon for 3 days. Ding. Level restrictions here LV1 LV29, the use of props is prohibited. Zhang Yuan appeared from the white light and stepped on the ground. Is this the secret realm of the college entrance examination copy? He looked around. In all directions, there were giant trees as thick as houses and hundreds of meters high. When he looked up, he saw a series of giant tree crowns. What he saw was green, and only the ground was strangely black. Where did this come from for me? I didn't feel other people's mental fluctuations. I should be the only one in this area. I don't know where Haozi was teleported. Zhang Yuan murmured to himself. Hiss. A color-changing giant python swam down from the giant tree, spitting out the nectar, opened its bloody mouth, and bit Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan didn't even reply, but instead punched him with his backhand. Snapped. Like a watermelon bursting, the head of the color-changing python, as big as a millstone, exploded. Ding. You kill the first level beast. The color-changing python, LV3, experience plus 30. Points plus 1. Anyway, let's go in this direction first. Zhang Yuan chose a direction at random and walked forward. The playground of martial arts high school was deserted. However, there is a huge light curtain suspended in midair, which displays the names of all the students, followed by the points, which are constantly changing according to the arrangement of the points from high to low. Zhang Yuan, 1. Xia Qinghu, 0. Ji Nansen, 0. Luo Shi, 0. Lin Qingyan, 0. Oh, this student named Zhang Yuan killed a ferocious beast so quickly. Not bad. Principal Lu he said with a smile. The dean said, he seems to be the ordinary class student who caused a heated discussion some time ago. It is said that he is already a first-order warrior. Zhang Yiming was a little proud. He is a student in our third class, and he is very accomplished in martial arts. I didn't ask you that. The vice principal said. The initial ranking cannot mean anything, it depends on the follow-up. Everyone nodded. As he spoke, the ranking changed again. Lin Qingyan ranked first with 3 points. Xia Qinghu, Qin Nansen and Luo Shi also gained points. Instead, Zhang Yuan was suddenly squeezed out of the top 10. Lu He stroked his beard and said, I wonder if any students can clear the dungeon this time. The girl in Beijiang City who has awakened her SS level talent might have a chance. It's a bit difficult. I heard that this dungeon was set up personally by the Minister of the Education Bureau. The deeper you go, the higher the level and difficulty of the ferocious beasts. In the end, there is even a third-level mutant boss. The vice principal said. It's simply a hellish difficulty. Lu He sighed with emotion. There is no way. Ever since there was a freak who cleared the dungeon in just 2 days the year before last, the Education Bureau has urgently adjusted the difficulty. Zhang Yiming said with a bitter smile. Ha, Heish, the blue-haired girl who was eating ice cream at a snack shop couldn't help but sneeze. Wearing tight clothes and having muscles all over his body, the teaching director of Big Muscle Master heard this and said, I remember, apart from her, the last person who was able to clear the dungeon in the college entrance examination was the big shot who awakened the talent of SSS 30 years ago. Lu He nodded, looking proud. I remember that I taught him skills and theory lessons back then. Zhang Yiming looked at the vice principal beside him. Is it the principal who said that? The vice principal nodded. Yes, that's him. Zhang Yiming looked amazed. Although I heard that that person had stayed in Nanjiang City for a while, I didn't expect that he actually attended this martial arts high school. Thinking of the being who was regarded as a legend by countless people, Zhang Yiming couldn't help but show a trace of admiration in his eyes. SSS level talent, legendary profession, reached the king realm at the age of 36. Now 47 years old, he is already one of the top combat forces in Daxia and is known as the number 1 among the demigods. One of the 3 gods and 9 kings of Daxia, Beiwang, Bei Junyuan. It seems there has been no news from that person for a long time. The vice principal said, he has been stationed north of the Great Wall of Great Sha and suppressed the largest abyss in the north. It has been 10 years now. Lu He said with emotion. Yes, we can hardly imagine the hardships involved. It can be said that without his efforts, we would not have the stable life we have now. It is a good thing for Daxia that he has no news. If there is news about him, it means that there is a big problem in the abyss and peace is at stake. This sentence is full of sadness and emotion. Behind peace, there are always people carrying the burden forward. I really hope these children can understand this and grow up early. Lu He said and shook his head. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go back first. The dungeon map is quite large. Even students who are not strong enough should not be eliminated so early. He hasn't finished speaking yet. There was a flash of light on the playground formation, and a figure appeared. Don't eat me, don't eat me, don't eat me. Chen Hao kept kneeling on the ground, with tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have taken out your balls, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Lu He, Vice Chancellor, Dean. Zhang Yiming secretly turned his head and pretended that he was not a student in his class. A copy of the Sea of Trees. Snapped. Ding. You kill the green armored mantis LV4 experience plus 40. Ding. Points plus 1, current points are 10. After tearing a mantis larger than a man in half, Zhang Yuan's points reached 10 points. He bent down and picked up a sickle-shaped green steel knife from a pile of materials dropped by the giant green armored mantis. It was full of serrations and filled with cold light. This feels quite useful. Zhang Yuan held the sickle and waved it twice casually. The sharp sword light passed by, and the strong and tough vines next to it split into 2 halves in an instant. Nodding with satisfaction, Zhang Yuan raised his head and looked around. I didn't expect this copy to be quite big. After walking deep into it for so long, it's still on the outside. The monster is too weak. Wait a minute, am I going in the wrong direction? Zhang Yuan thought and scratched his head. He doesn't have the attributes of a roadie, but the area full of giant trees makes it really difficult to tell the direction. If you are not careful, you will go wrong, and there is no map of the copy. Zhang Yuan had a troubled expression on his face. If you go wrong, you'll be in trouble. If I had known better, I would have learned a detective skill. Sighed. Now we can no longer open the star network for transactions, so we have to use some stupid method. He bent his legs, gathered strength, and kicked hard. Bang! The hard ground dented and exploded, and Zhang Yuan's figure instantly disappeared from the spot, rising into the sky with the sound of a sonic explosion, and did not slow down until he reached an altitude of 100 meters. Using the green steel knife in his hand to cut behind the thick tree, Zhang Yuan looked into the distance. They all have the same scenery. Where should we go? Look in one direction. There was faint light from the explosion over there. Boom. Bang. Zhang Yuan approached that area. I saw more than 10 goblin warriors armed with wooden sticks, shields, and axes approaching the 3 students. 2 men and 1 woman, a standard combination of a warrior, a large shield and a mage. The female mage seemed to have little combat experience. She kept releasing fireball skills in a panic, but they were all blocked by the large goblin standing in front of the goblin. Don't come here, don't come here. When her blue bar is exhausted, a few people are waiting for her to be surrounded and killed. Zhang Zan, calm down. The warrior boy shouted, it's useless. We just killed 1 goblin, how come so many of them suddenly appeared? The thick-browed man with the big shield said with cold sweat on his face, what should we do now? I don't want it to end so early. Quote. While the 2 were still discussing what to do, something worse happened. The girl stopped releasing her skills and fell to the ground weakly. I have no strength. A group of goblins walked out from behind the large goblins and looked at them with evil smiles on their faces. Percent and at 34% hash. It's no longer possible, stupid human. # degree C. Suffer death. Percent hash at. Come together and catch that woman. Hateful. The warrior boy gritted his teeth and rushed forward to block the goblin's stick from hitting the girl. Hiss, it's such a heavy force, help. The man with the big shield quickly stepped forward to taunt and attract attacks, but was slapped aside by the large goblin, and the shield in his hand flew out. The warrior blocked the attack of the goblin in front of him, released his skills, and was covered in blood. Blood rage. Plus, earth-shattering split. He held the big sword in both hands and slashed it down. The blade cut through the goblin's hard body, cutting a deep gash and reducing its health bar by half. Ah, it hurts so much. Human devil. The injured goblin screamed in pain. Just when the warrior boy was about to give him the final blow. The goblin seemed to have been attacked by something invisible. His screams suddenly stopped, his eyes exploded, and his health bar instantly cleared. The warrior man was stunned for a moment, then his eyes widened. No, got robbed of a monster. Do not make jokes. He also wants to level up by relying on the experience gained from killing this monster. Suppressing the anger and impatience in his heart, he turned around and looked around, and soon saw Zhang Yuan sitting on a stone 100 meters away. Classmate, are you also a candidate? How about we form a team together? The warrior man suppressed the anger in his heart at being robbed by the monster, forced a smile, and asked Zhang Yuan. As for what he was thinking about, he wanted to draw this person to attract the hatred of the goblins so that they could have time to escape. As you can see, it's really dangerous here. One person will definitely be eliminated soon. Why don't we all form a team together to gain experience? Before he could finish his words, he was attacked by goblins. Interrupt. The female mage and Dardan also saw Zhang Yuan, as if they saw hope, and begged urgently. Yes, classmate, let's form a team together. I can resist attacks and absorb damage for you. As a team of 4 of us, we can definitely destroy these goblins. If you are willing to help, No, I can be your girlfriend. Look, the female mage opened her robe and revealed a trembling white face to Zhang Yuan. The warrior man next to him was furious when he saw this scene. This fool, after licking her for so long, spending money and effort, she agreed to be his girlfriend, but now she didn't even hold her hand, but it was so easy to show her pussy to a stranger. Zhang Yuan gave a slap in the face expressionlessly, showing no emotion at all about what they said, and had no intention of helping. Everyone is an opponent, why should I help? It would be nice if you were not eliminated. It would be better to say they were eliminated. By then, these monsters will all be yours. Seeing his intention, the male soldier became angry. Are you really going to die without saving me? You still stole my monster, it's so. Before he finished speaking, the large goblin's wooden stick fell down, and he had to crush the teleportation stone in his hand. I can't do it either. The female mage closed her eyes in despair, and before several goblins swung their axes and sticks, she crushed the teleportation stone in her hand and disappeared into a ray of white light. Hateful. All his companions left. No matter how unwilling the shield man was, he could only crush the teleportation stone at this moment. As the three left, Zhang Yuan then stood up from the stone and looked at a group of experienced, goblins not far away with a smile. I finally left. Now I don't have to worry about them getting experience. A group of goblins screamed angrily and destroyed everything. Humans, where have they gone? Come out. Whoa. A green sword light passed through the body of a goblin without any warning, without any hindrance. In an instant, the health bar is cleared. It didn't even react before its body was cut in half. Who? The other goblins suddenly started to commotion and let out ear-piercing screams. Whoosh! A strong wind howled by. Zhang Yuan appeared among the goblins, swung the green sickle in his hand in a circular motion, and with a sharp whistling sound like glass being cut, the green sword light swept around in an arc shape, instantly cutting several goblins into two. Half. Even if he doesn't use any skills, with his terrifying attributes, any attack can instantly kill mobs of this level. Ding. You kill goblin LV5 experience plus 50. Ding. You kill. System prompts keep sounding. $N. It's a human devil. $C. Despicable guy, come out. The remaining goblins screamed and waved wooden sticks, whistling with the wind, and hit Zhang Yuan. Dong dong dong. Attacks rained down. -1, -1, -1, -1. Zhang Yuan didn't even need to hide. He casually waved the green sickle in his hand and chopped up the remaining goblins. Even the large goblin at level 8 with a health bar of over 10,000 could not withstand him, and his health bar was cleared with one strike. Instant kill. All are instant kills with one hit. Another junk material. The experience value is too low. Seeing that LV9 LV10 only reached 50% of the experience bar, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but sigh. The experience value given by the second level ferocious beast is higher. Well, he randomly chose a direction and continued walking deeper into the copy. This time I didn't go out for long. Zhang Yuan smelled a strange fragrance. The aroma smells extremely good, sweet and mellow, a delicious taste that seems to go straight into the depths of the soul. Curious, he walked in the direction of the smell. A golden honeycomb hanging from a giant tree, as big as a villa, came into view. A swarm of giant bees as big as a water tank were flying and circling around, their sharp stingers emitting a penetrating cold light. Abyssal beast, yellow striped poisonous bee. Grade ordinary. Level LV6. Skills, sting, summon companions. Evaluation, the individual combat effectiveness is low, but they will go out in groups. Once they target the target, they will not give up. Especially don't touch their honey, otherwise they will go out en masse. Their stingers can pierce steel. Quite dangerous and difficult. Zhang Yuan took another appraisal of the golden hive. The hive where the queen of the yellow striped poisonous bee lives. Topaz honey, a mid-level ingredient. In addition to its extremely smooth and refreshing taste and extremely delicious rich aroma, it can also enhance the user's physical fitness, restore vitality, and prolong life. Zhang Yuan's eyes lit up. It's indeed a good thing. It's impossible not to get it now. Not far away. The girl, who was covered in darkness and wearing an assassin uniform, hiding her face behind a giant tree, wiped the non-existent sweat on her forehead and breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't expect that there was a swarm of yellow striped poisonous bees here. Fortunately, they didn't discover it, otherwise it would have been a disaster. Hurry up and run away now. Just when she was about to leave, she heard the click of branches being broken from behind. He turned around curiously. A young man carrying a green scythe and wearing a black and white school uniform was walking swaggering towards the hive. This scene almost scared her soul out of her mind. What does that guy want to do? Is he planning to provoke those swarm of yellow-striped poisonous wasps? Are you crazy? Just thinking about it, you know it's impossible, right? The assassin girl looked around. By the way, there must be other teammates hiding in the dark. Breath detection. No, there is no other person's breath. He is really alone, how dare he? The assassin girl was greatly shocked, looking at the figure walking towards the hive as if she were a fool. If he passes by like this and attracts the hatred of the yellow-striped poisonous bees, there is no doubt that he will be eliminated. If he can hold on for a few seconds, maybe I can get a jar of topaz honey. But, after struggling internally for a few seconds, the assassin girl still couldn't pass the test in her heart. At this time, Zhang Yuan had already reached the territory of the yellow-striped poisonous bee. A yellow-striped poisonous bee flying close to the ground flapped its wings and made a warning buzz. Breathe, Shunpo. The dark shadow flashed, came to Zhang Yuan, and grabbed his hand. Stealth on the same frequency. The bodies of the two people instantly became transparent and invisible. The approaching yellow-striped poisonous bee flew over their heads. No intruder was found. After calling twice in confusion, it flew back to the vicinity of the hive. The assassin girl breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Yuan couldn't help but ask, "What are you doing?" If he hadn't wanted to see if the assassin hiding in the dark wanted to steal monsters or something else, he would have taken action just now. As a result, her actions really stunned Zhang Yuan. The assassin girl put her hands on her hips and said angrily to him, "Why are you still asking me? Are you stupid? Once you provoke a yellow-striped poisonous bee, it will attract a swarm of yellow-striped poisonous bees that will not stop chasing you. A swarm of yellow-striped poisonous bees will kill even the second-level warrior. Do you really want to be eliminated? Why are you here? Think more about your family and parents outside who are cheering you on, really." Zhang Yuan reacted and was a little surprised. She wants to save me. The assassin girl put her hand on Zhang Yuan's shoulder and warned, "I think you are pretty strong, so don't be stupid." Quote. Got it. Seeing Zhang Yuan nod, a teachable smile appeared on her face. "You're not too stubborn. My name is Pei Jia, from Beijing No. 1 Middle School. What's your name?" Looking at her outstretched hand, Zhang Yuan stretched out his hand to hold it. "Zhang Yuan, Nanjing No. 1 Middle School." Zhang Yuan can feel that the assassin girl in front of him is already a first-level warrior, and may also be a genius with some reputation in Beijing City. Most assassins don't have the skill that can make others invisible together. And the most crucial point is, she seems nice. Zhang Yuan, I took note of it. You are not bad, but you are a bit too reckless. Please be more careful in the future. The assassin girl Pei Jia said and planned to turn around and leave. And just then, a group of yellow-striped poisonous bees made strange movements and gathered together, blocking the front of the giant hive as if they sensed some danger. What's wrong? The assassin girl looked over there. A giant spider whose body was filled with black iron but whose back was snow white and exuded a sharp metallic aura slowly climbed down from the trunk of the giant tree where the hive was located. Abyss Beast Black Iron Spider. Grade Ordinary. Level LV16, second level. Skills 8 Spider Stings, Poison Spray, Spider Web Restraint. Evaluation: the appearance is harder than steel, the stinger is sharp, and it has extremely high damage and toxicity. However, it can drop a lot of materials after killing it, and it is full of treasures. Hiss. The assassin girl took a deep breath. She didn't expect to encounter a second-level ferocious beast outside. Why are you still standing there? Run away, she shouted at Zhang Yuan. The speed of a second-level ferocious beast is unstoppable. Zhang Yuan stood still, looked over and said, "It seems to be going for honey. There might be a fight." The assassin girl was stunned and looked intently. The queen bee, which was significantly larger than other yellow-striped poisonous bees, flew out of the hive and issued a shrill warning to the black iron poisonous spider crawling above. Hiss. The black iron poisonous spider was not affected at all, and continued to crawl downwards with 8 legs, and sprayed a mouthful of spider web towards the bee swarm. 2 yellow-striped poisonous bees were hit and fell not far away from Zhang Yuan and the others. On the ground, struggling desperately in the extremely sticky spider web. Before the assassin girl could react, she felt a figure flash beside her. Zhang Yuan came to the 2 yellow-striped poisonous wasps struggling on the ground and waved down the green sickle in his hand. Shua. The green sword flashed. This yellow-striped poisonous wasp, which was as big as a water tank and covered with downy hair, was instantly cut open and its health bar was cleared. Ding. You kill the yellow striped venomous bee LV9, experience plus 90. Ding. You kill the yellow striped venomous bee LV7, experience plus 70. Ding. You get the poisonous stinger of the yellow striped poisonous bee 1. Ding. You get the poisonous stinger of the yellow striped poisonous bee 1. Ding. Points plus 1. Ding. Points plus 1. Such high damage. The assassin girl was shocked. Wait, poisonous bee swarm. She looked up and found that the swarm of poisonous bees had no time to deal with this side. They were attacking the black iron poisonous spider one after another. The sharp poisonous stings like spears fell on the back of the black iron poisonous spider like raindrops, but it was difficult to penetrate the hard shell of the black iron poisonous spider, and one by one fell off under the attack of the spider webs and stings it spit out. Every time one falls, there will be a flash of green knife light. Only then did the assassin girl react. Isn't this an excellent time to level up? Save a few for me. She took out her dagger, dodged to an injured yellow striped poisonous wasp, and cleared the health bar with one stab. Zhang Yuan didn't stop him. The two of them kept picking up the leaks and destroying the fallen yellow striped poisonous wasps wantonly. Often, Zhang Yuan would kill 4 of them before the assassin girl could clear the health bar of one yellow striped poisonous bee. It doesn't take a moment. The corpses of more than 30 yellow striped poisonous wasps have appeared on the ground. Whoa, a white light flashed, and the assassin girl's level increased, and her face couldn't help showing joy. That's great, I'm finally at LV5. It's really a huge profit. Almost, the young man's voice came from the side. The assassin girl looked at him doubtfully. Zhang Yuan picked up the last stinger material and looked up at the battle above. The black iron poisonous spider only has half of its health bar left, the queen bee opposite has only 2/3 of its health bar left, and the yellow striped poisonous bees next to it only have about 30 guards left. It's time to serve it all in one pot. What you up to? Seeing the boy's legs bent, the assassin girl Pei Jia suddenly had an unpleasant thought in her mind. You don't want to. Bang! The ground shook, air waves exploded, and the young man's figure shot into the sky like a cannonball. The corners of her clothes and hair were rolled up by the strong wind, and the shocked assassin girl finally reacted. Isn't this too reckless? Even if it's full of blood, it's still a second-level ferocious beast. Zhang Yuan, who jumped high into the sky, appeared in the middle of the black iron poisonous spiders and the yellow striped poisonous bees. Seeing the uninvited guests, the ferocious beasts on both sides became furious and launched attacks at the same time. The black iron spider spits out a ball of white spider web that is thick and contains corrosive venom. Whoa! The queen bee straightened her tail, and a large number of venomous stingers flew towards her while roaring. Whoosh whoosh! The remaining yellow striped poisonous bees also let out a shrill scream and flapped their wings in groups and flew towards Zhang Yuan. There is a pattern among the ferocious beasts of the abyss. Their hatred and disgust for humans is always greater than that of their enemies in the abyss. Even if they were fighting each other a second ago, as long as humans appear, they will definitely be eliminated first. This is malice from the abyss. It's over. The assassin girl who witnessed this scene thought to herself and couldn't help but cover her eyes. The attacks of the 2 second-level ferocious beasts were difficult for even shield warriors of the rare defense profession to block, let alone. Null. There was a loud bang. The assassin girl couldn't help but look up. Zhang Yuan looked indifferent, made a fist with his free left hand, and shot it out in the air. The crimson ripples expanded in the shape of a ball along with the shock wave, like a barrier expanding from Zhang Yuan's body. Bang, 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 all attacks were deflected. The assassin girl opened her eyes wide. Huh. The 2 second-level ferocious beasts have not yet reacted. Whoa! Zhang Yuan took action again, swinging the green sickle he held in his right hand in a circular motion at an extremely fast speed. With a whistling sound, a crimson rippled sword light streaked across the body of the black iron poisonous spider. Click! A straight blood mark appeared on the body that was harder than steel, and the remaining half of the health bar was cleared instantly. Ding! You kill the black iron spider LV16, experience plus 534. Ding! Your points plus 10, current points are 67. Bang! Watching the body of the terrifying black iron poisonous spider be split into 2, it fell heavily from the air and landed in front of him. The assassin girl was stunned. She was stunned for 3 seconds before she realized what had happened. Hey 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 hey. Lie, 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 lie. A second level ferocious beast, kill him with just one knife. The assassin girl couldn't help shouting, feeling that her temples were constantly exploding and her scalp was numb. Is he a super monster? Then what I was doing just now. Don't wait for her to finish. Boom. There was another loud sound, and the yellow-striped poisonous queen, which was as big as a house, also fell into two halves and fell in front of her. The swarms of yellow-striped poisonous bees with 0 health bars continued to fall like rain. Bang, bang, bang. Quote. Quote. The assassin girl was so shocked that she was almost speechless. What kind of monster was that I just blocked? Even if I don't stop him, he should be able to wipe out the swarm by himself. Thinking of what she said, her cheeks suddenly felt hot. Ding. You kill the yellow-striped venomous bee, your experience will be +8 too. Ding. You kill. After destroying all the poisonous bees, Zhang Yuan, who kept hearing reminders in his ears, walked into the giant beehive. There were still a large number of unhatched bee eggs. The center was a pool the size of a hot spring, which was filled with golden beehives that exuded like jade. The lustrous and attractive honey weighs hundreds of kilograms. You found topaz honey, intermediate level, a total of 137 copies. Do you want to pick it up? It's a big profit now. Zhang Yuan smiled and clicked to receive it. Ding. You kill. Ding. Your level has improved. Your current level is LV10, all attributes +10, free attribute points +10. Zhang Yuan, whose body was glowing with white light, was stunned for a moment, and then his face showed joy. Finally upgraded again. Second level transfer to warrior. Ding. You gain new professional skills. Ding. Your talent, infinite increase activation, get an increase opportunity. Quote. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Zhang Yuan jumped from the hive without taking any defensive measures, relying on his body to carry it, and banging a sunken hole in the ground. Seeing him walking out of the pothole without any trouble, the assassin girl couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. What kind of monster body is this? Zhang Yuan was not without any injuries. His internal organs were somewhat turbulent and bleeding, and his energy and blood were boiling, but the problem was not serious. Under the training of the immortal bodybuilding technique, such continuous training and harm to himself will actually make his body stronger. You haven't left yet, Zhang Yuandao. The assassin girl hesitated. Seeing that the materials on the 2 second-level ferocious beasts that fell to the ground were still there, Zhang Yuan's favorable impression of the assassin girl in front of him increased a little. You want this, right? Here it is. After Zhang Yuan picked up the materials, he threw a portion of topaz honey to her. The assassin girl caught it before she could react. When she saw what was in her hand, she hurriedly said, "No, I haven't even contributed, how can I? You are a nice person, so I gave it to you." Zhang Yuan finished speaking with a smile, kicked off his feet, and disappeared in front of her with a strong wind. The assassin girl was left standing there blankly. This time it's really a big win. In addition to 136 parts of topaz honey, there are also a lot of materials. The points have also increased to 97 points, and the experience tank has reached 70%. You should be able to upgrade soon. Thinking of this, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but smile and narrow his eyes. It would be great if we could still encounter such a gathering of ferocious beasts. At the same time, another area. Ding. You kill the ferocious beast Earth Dragon Lizard, LV13, experience +452. Ding. Your points are +10, your current points are 74. Lin Qingyan put her hands in her pockets, looking at the ferocious beast in front of her that was pierced by countless wooden thorns, but she was thinking about another thing. I don't know how many points that guy has reached. I have to kill more. As long as I clear the secret realm first, I will never be surpassed by him again. Lin Qingyan thought about it and opened her lips slightly. Lying. Her speed increased instantly, as fast as a phantom, heading deep into the forest of giant trees. Whoa. The huge green wind blade split a huge green python into two. Ding. You kill the ferocious beast dark green venomous python, LV11, experience +389. Ding. Your points are +10, your current points are 68. Surrounded by the storm, Sha Qinghu Yufeng, who was wearing a long robe, stood in the air. He looked handsome and elegant, and said to a group of students with a smile on his face, "Are you okay?" "No, it's okay. Thanks for the rescue," the student leader said gratefully. "That's good, pay attention to safety." After Sha Qinghu finished speaking, he turned around and flew away. Looking at his flying back, the female mage and female healer in the team looked at Sha Qinghu with red eyes. Their eyes were like water, and their legs under the robes couldn't help rubbing. "Which school is he from? He's so strong." The male soldier sighed. "The dark green poisonous python that all of us combined couldn't defeat, but he was able to kill it all at once. Must be the top talent of S talent." Several girls held their hands on their chests and said, "So handsome. It's like giving birth to a monkey." A burly student disappeared into the teleported white light. Not far away, a young man dressed in black, with 6 sword scabbards floating behind him like a peacock, bit a grass stem, shook his head and sighed. "I thought I finally met someone who can fight. Not even the students from Nanami City, they can't even defeat my 3 swords." He snapped his fingers, and the 3 iron swords in the sky flew back instantly and were put into the scabbards suspended behind him. Boom! There was a heavy crash in the distance, causing him to turn his head and look. An excited smile appeared on Qin Nanson's face. "Is it a ferocious beast? I hope it can be beaten. Don't let me down too much." He walked over there with his sword on his back. On the playground of Budo High School, white lights flashed past, and students exited the copy one after another. They sighed. "Oh, I was so unlucky. I didn't go very far when I encountered a LV5 cat monster. I almost lost all my blood with just one paw." "Me too, I can't defeat the ferocious beasts I encounter. Fortunately, I can pinch the teleportation stone quickly. It's also too difficult this year. As expected, I'd better go home and sell pancakes." "I'll go. Someone's got over 100 points. What? Several students looked up after hearing this and saw the points ranking on the light screen. Ranked first, Lin Junhao, with 103 points. Ranked second, Zhang Yuan, with 98 points. Ranked third, Lin Qingyan, with 70 points. Ranked fourth, Sha Qinghu, with 67 points. Hiss, it's too perverted to break 100 so quickly. As expected of a rare job changer who has awakened S-level talents." The students sighed with emotion. Master Zhang Yuan is also very scary. He is already 98, and he is very close to breaking 100. What is his profession? What talent has he awakened? By the way, isn't Goddess Lin a healer with a healing talent? How come her points are so high? Some people were puzzled. Someone's points exceeded 150. A female mage looked at her phone and made a sound of disbelief. What? Everyone who was eliminated took out their mobile phones one after another, and someone had posted Beijing City's college entrance examination score rankings on social media. The first one in line is a girl named Pei Kongyan. She is the girl from Beijing No. 1 middle school who awakened her SS level talent and transferred to the legendary profession of necromancer, right? As expected, he is as perverted as a monster. The difference is unimaginable. All the students wailed and lamented the injustice of their fate. Principal Liu He on the high platform also said with emotion, "Although this year is very difficult, the quality of the students is also quite high." The dean responsible for teaching Class S frowned slightly. The vice principal asked, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, it just feels a little strange. I also know Lin Junhao's strength. He can only be regarded as an upper middle level in Class S. Although he has awakened his S-level natural talent, can he make such a big improvement in such a short time?" The dean said with some confusion. "To be honest, I am very surprised that he can get more than 100 points so quickly." Zhang Yiming smiled and said, "What's the point? Maybe he was hiding his strength before. Just like Zhang Yuan in our class, who would have thought that he could become a blockbuster before." At this moment, the points behind Zhang Yuan's name jumped twice more and became 100. "Look, this is over 100. Old Zhang, please put away the smile on your face, your grin is almost reaching the back of your head. Is there any? Ha ha ha, I'm back." Mo Shishi returned home in a hurry, ignoring Dao Yufeng who was cooking in the kitchen, and went straight to the room. Then a scream came from her room, startling Dao Yufeng. "What happened? Mom, look, look, look." Mo Shishi rushed out excitedly, Look, Brother Yuan's name ranks second in the city. Really? Dao Yufeng wiped her hands and looked at the pictures on the optical brain, feeling very excited. Okay, in order to celebrate your cousin's good results, I will add 2 more dishes tonight. Great. Sea of Trees copy Abyss. After separating from the assassin girl Pei Jia, Zhang Yuan walked several kilometers into the depths before checking out his newly acquired skills. Martial God Clone. Obtain a clone with 10% of its own health. It has the same attributes and skills as the original body. Talents and skills cannot be used. The original body can share the vision with the clone, and can participate in battles or practice and kill. The experience points gained by the beast and the results of its training will be returned to the original body. There is no distance limit or time limit. It consumes 10 physical points of the original body every second it exists. It can be resummoned 24 hours after being killed. Quote. Another amazing skill. Not only does it have the same attributes as itself, but there are no distance or time restrictions. It can also return training results and monster killing experience. Isn't this equivalent to opening a trumpet with unlimited lives? Zhang Yuan felt more and more how outrageous the mythical profession of martial god was. What a fool, the god of war's clone. As he releases his skills. Call. A hurricane rose out of thin air in front of me. The hurricane dispersed. A figure shrouded in black appeared in front of Zhang Yuan. It's like Zhang Yuan's reflection in the mirror, wearing the same clothes, the same height, and the same body shape. The only difference is that its face is not made of flesh and blood but made of countless dark silk threads, a mess. Squat down. It immediately squatted down. Jump. Jump immediately. Practice the immortal body building method. It immediately started practicing the first form. Without thinking and autonomous consciousness, Zhang Yuan's thoughts are the orders he obeys. Zhang Yuan nodded with satisfaction. Next, go in the opposite direction to me and kill the beast. The clone kicked off his feet and immediately disappeared in the strong wind. It's really useful. Zhang Yuan sighed. Although it consumes 10 points of physical strength every second, it is nothing to him. He only needs to run the fire-breathing technique at all times and rely on his abnormal recovery ability to recover 5 to 10 points of physical strength every second. The immortal phoenix flame and the immortal body forging technique can also keep him full of physical strength. Unless he encounters a powerful enemy that requires continuous use of skills to deal with, or is caught in a tough battle with no way out, Zhang Yuan basically doesn't have to worry about running out of energy. Freely distribute the 10 points of free attributes and feel the increase in strength within the body. Zhang Yuan looked at the skill that lit up on the attribute panel, Infinite Amplification. I wonder what the increase will be this time. In great anticipation, he said the word, use. Ding. You use talent infinite increase, original primary level, random increase. Ding. Your pet egg gold level increases by 100,000 times, and you get a pet egg mythical *1. Before Zhang Yuan could react, the pet egg that originally existed in the system warehouse suddenly appeared in front of you. The previously pure white eggshell now turned into a deep black, covered with complex textures of gold, red and black. It seems to contain truths and mysteries beyond mortal cognition. Like the mark of God. Chapter 51. Buzz. An extremely sacred starlight appeared in front of Zhang Yuan, illuminating an area. In Zhang Yuan's eyes widened in surprise. A golden and black coat of arms full of the mysteries of God emerged from the starlight, appearing out of thin air in the void between him and the pet egg, spinning slowly, exuding an ancient, sacred, eternal, and immortal aura. This is. Zhang Yuan hasn't said anything yet. Whoosh. The coat of arms shoots out 2 beams of light. One bunch fell on the pet egg, and the other fell on Zhang Yuan's forehead. One person and one egg suddenly shine brightly. Zhang Yuan was in a state of confusion. A shadow of a golden and black coat of arms appeared on his forehead, and a black rune appeared in the depth of the blazing golden pupil of his right eye, which was the same as a rune on an eggshell. A huge phantom also appeared behind him, like the reflection of some mythical creature, shaped like a giant fish. With a swing of his tail, he rolled up the entire ocean, and the endless water vapor and ancient vast aura instantly filled the entire space. His brilliant power made all the creatures in the dungeon, including the dungeon boss, raise their heads in fear and worry. What happened? Why did the vicious beast suddenly escape? All the students in the dungeon were confused about what was going on. Lin Qingyan wrinkled her beautiful eyebrows. Was that just now? In a certain area, an old but shocked voice came from the body of an ordinary-looking young man. This is, teacher, what's wrong? At that moment, I seemed to feel the breath of God. God, how is this possible? How can this kind of copy withstand that kind of existence? Quote. That's right, I must have misperceived it. Zhang Yuan was completely unaware of the appearance of the giant fish behind him, and it only appeared for a moment and then disappeared. Alerts sounded in his ears. Ding! Due to the increase given by you, your pet egg myth is filled with excitement and humility, and takes the initiative to sign a master-servant contract with you. Ding! You get the blessing of the pet egg myth luck +5, and get the passive skill, golden rule. Shock. Extremely shocked. Until all the abnormalities disappear and the pet eggs return to the system warehouse. Zhang Yuan has not yet come back to his senses. This time the increase is actually caused by pet eggs. It has increased to a mythical level. So, that egg contains the cub of a mythical creature. Zhang Yuan muttered to himself blankly. You know, exotic beast pets are extremely rare in this world. Because exotic beasts are extremely difficult to tame, except for warriors who have transferred to the hidden profession beast controller who can have pets, others can only obtain them through contracted pet eggs. And pet eggs are extremely rare. An ordinary warrior who changes his profession can own a bronze-level pet egg, which is worth showing off. Silver-level pet eggs can only be obtained by some wealthy young men, or the children of high-level transferred warriors, who will spend a lot of money to get them. Gold-level pet eggs cannot be bought no matter how much money they have. They are priceless but difficult to obtain even for high-level warriors who change their profession. The epic and legendary pet eggs that are just high are even more fantastic. Zhang Yuan also opened one from the rich treasure chest because he cleared the extremely difficult trial tower. This is also the most valuable thing in the treasure chest. And now, he has just been upgraded to LV10, and he is a mere second-level warrior who has changed his profession, but he actually has a mythical pet. I'm afraid no one would believe me if I told you. Gulu. Swallowed. Zhang Yuan then opened the system warehouse and checked its properties. Pet egg myth, unknown type, unknown attributes, unknown talents, unknown skills, hatching time, unknown. 5 unknowns in a row confused Zhang Yuan. I don't know when this thing will be hatched, so what's the use? Use it to hit people. Sigh, you can't expect an egg to talk. There must be a way to hatch it in advance. Let's check the relevant information after the copy is released. Zhang Yuan thought to himself. Although this egg is of no use now, the passive skills it brings are still very good. Golden rule passive. Those who possess this skill will be favored by the goddess of luck and have incredible wealth. You don't need to pursue it, the treasure will come to you. Not bad, really good. Zhang Yuan smiled brightly, especially when he saw the words, the treasure will come to you. Does this mean that with this skill, I can pick up money when I walk in the future, and I will find equipment when searching for monsters? This is really cool. If there is another, stealing, skill. Zhang Yuan felt wonderful just thinking about it. Open the panel. Character. Zhang Yuan. Race. Human race. Age. 17. Level. Second level warrior LV10. Occupation. God of War myth. Talent. Infinite amplification original supreme analysis God level immortal phoenix flame SSS. Stamina. 2310. Power. 2220. Speed. 2080. Spirit. 2400. Lucky. 10. Passive specialization the limit of power, the golden rule. Active skills divine avoidance, star explosion, divine speed, martial god clone. A thorn in the spirit, an endless cage. Cultivation techniques immortal body building technique, fire breathing technique, great sun ultimate mind contemplation, ripple power technique. Martial skill. Sky breaking blow 3-star secret critical hit with real damage value plus 150%, with cutting effect. Equipment crimson wristbands rare dark gold bone gun common best. Contract pet egg god level. Item none. Remaining free attribute points 0. After sorting out the harvest and calming down the mood, Zhang Yuan quickly digested the increased strength with his extraordinary comprehension. The martial god clone on the other side has also found the target. The prompts for killing the beasts are constantly ringing in Zhang Yuan's ears, and the experience gauge is slowly rising. Most of the day has passed, and I don't know how the others are doing. Could it be that we have reached a deeper area? Zhang Yuan's expression condensed slightly when he thought that there was a strong person like Lin Qingyan among the students. With her strength, this dungeon is not difficult at all. She may have surpassed her by a lot and entered the deepest level. I can't procrastinate anymore. If she clears the level and gets the highest score, it will be useless no matter how many ferocious beasts I kill. Zhang Yuan was thinking as he hurried on at super fast, his body flashing continuously towards the depths of the giant tree forest. It didn't take long. Whoosh! Zhang Yuan's figure appeared in a new area. It was silent here, with no trace of students having been there. The light was very dim, the crowns of the giant trees were denser, and there were weird and eerie sounds all around. Zhang Yuan glanced sideways and swept away with his golden eyes. Shua! Suddenly, more than a dozen purple thorny vines as thick as thighs shot toward Zhang Yuan. The green sickle in Zhang Yuan's hand swung out and cut into the vines, but it made a sound like the collision of gold and iron. Clang 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 clang. The light of the knife was crushed. Crack! The sharp sickle from the giant sickle completely broke. Finally encountered some decent ferocious beast. Zhang Yuan threw it away and said with a smile, "Just let me try it out." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A dozen purple thorny vines as hard as iron stabbed straight like spears. Zhang Yuan turned slightly to avoid all attacks. More than a dozen vines pierced deep into the ground and crisscrossed around Zhang Yuan, trapping him like a prison. Whoa! The vines suddenly gathered towards the middle, their slender spikes carrying a cold light, trying to penetrate his body. Zhang Yuan looked calm and swung the knife in his left hand at will. Ping! With the blessing of terrifying attributes, he smashed those spikes with his bare hands with his flesh and blood body. Swish, 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 swish. More than a dozen vines danced like furious snakes, tying them towards Zhang Yuan. The strong wind blew the bangs on Zhang Yuan's forehead, and he slowly opened his eyes, as if two candles were lit in the dark night, or like a majestic ancient dragon opening its golden eyes in the abyss. Ripple, shock, boom, crimson ripples exploded from his body, spreading like ripples, stopping the vines from attacking. Countless crimson ripples spread to those vines with terrifying vibrations, like being struck by lightning. They trembled crazily and then exploded violently. Paw, 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 Li. Not far away, a huge human face appeared on the trunk of a giant tree, and a shrill scream came from its mouth. Abyssal beast, human-faced ghost vine tree. Grade, rare. Level, LV18. Skills, mental destruction, spore parasitism, vine attack. Evaluation, dangerous and insidious abyss creatures that can turn prey into their own nutrients without warning. It is the true nature of the vine. Crimson ripples spread to it along the roots of the vine, like the poison of tarsal maggots, and like destructive red lightning, causing a lot of real damage to its body. Li. Invisible spiritual tides hit in all directions. Hitting Zhang Yuan's spiritual realm was like sand being blown against an iron door by the wind. It had no effect at all. Buzz. Zhang Yuanqi's golden pupils flashed with golden light. Intermediate spiritual skill, spiritual thorn. The extremely condensed mental power formed several thorny vines, which pierced ruthlessly into the spiritual realm of the human-faced ghost vine tree, stirring it wantonly and causing it to scream in ever more painful and shrill sounds. The giant tree swayed crazily, shaking the ground as well. Countless purple vines emerged from the ground, whipping wildly and irregularly. Super speed. Zhang Yuan made a flash and came to the human-faced ghost vine tree, and slammed out his right fist wrapped in blazing aura. Black Thunder. Flash. The boxing techniques learned from Lin Qingyan, plus the ripple force technique. With the flash of Black Thunder, Zhang Yuan's fist fell on the trunk of the ghost vine tree. Boom, boom. The extremely condensed vibrating energy went straight through the body of the giant tree. The shock wave spread for more than 10 meters, like an invisible spear, piercing and tearing the hard tree trunk, directly breaking the entire giant tree. Health bar 17,830 right pointing arrow 0. Bang! The giant tree nearly 100 meters high fell heavily, and a warning sounded in Zhang Yuan's mind. Ding! You kill human-faced ghost vine tree and gain experience plus 773. Ding! Points plus 30. Ding! You get a skill book 1. Ding. You have obtained a rare piece of equipment, Ghostface Wood Staff. Ding. You have obtained the material, the heart of the human-faced ghost vine tree. Ding. You have obtained the material, the spores of the human-faced ghost vine tree. Ding. You get the prop key to the Sea of Trees. Stand of Ghostface Wood Rare, Spiritual Attack +10, Penetration +5, Spell Casting Speed +5, with slowing effect. The golden rule is indeed amazing. Rare equipment was revealed so quickly. What is this? Zhang Yuan looked at the wooden key in his hand, feeling a little confused. Key to Sea of Trees, a prop that leads to the hidden map of the dungeon. After holding it, it can guide you to the entrance of the hidden map. Buzz. The wooden key in his hand glowed, and a fluorescent particle flew out, suspended in front of Zhang Yuan, and then flew in one direction. Zhang Yuan's eyes lit up. Oh, it's really nice to have a tool that can guide you. Take me to the hidden map entrance. He followed the light and walked deeper. The other side. Hoo. Guan Xiaoxiao was kneeling on one knee, gasping for air. Her face was dirty and her body was covered with scars. Seeing the two-headed rhinoceros turtle approaching with hot breath coming from its mouth and nose, she bit her lip, with a trace of unwillingness in her sharp eyes. Is that the end of it? It would be better to say that this is the end of it. My attacks are completely ineffective against it, so what else can I do? Guan Xiaoxiao slowly lowered his hand and lowered his head, his face shrouded in shadow. First, he acted with the team and killed 5 or 6 ferocious beasts, and then relied on his own strength to defeat 4 first-level ferocious beasts. Was he working hard enough? This is already my limit. That'll be fine. To this extent, even parents can be satisfied. So be it. Boom. The ground trembled, and a two-headed rhinoceros turtle, 3 meters tall and as big as an RV, came in front of her. Compared with it, the girl's figure seemed so small. Guan Xiaoxiao clenched the teleportation stone in his hand. Roar! The two-headed rhinoceros turtle roared, raised its thick forelimbs. I wonder how he is doing now. Has he reached the top 100? The figure of a young man with black hair and golden eyes appeared in Guan Xiaoxiao's mind. The moment she was about to crush the teleportation stone, a black shadow suddenly appeared in the sky above the two-headed rhinoceros turtle without warning. It had a strange figure, twisted its waist, and kicked it down hard, hitting the hardest shell of the two-headed rhinoceros turtle. Boom! The air burst and waves swept across. The unsuspecting two-headed rhinoceros turtle coughed up blood from both heads under the terrifying force, its shell shattered, its huge body sank, and even the ground sunk half a meter. Guan Xiaoxiao looked up blankly at the scene in front of her, the raging wind blowing her hair. Why? The girl's delicate face was full of disbelief, her lips were wide open, and her big bright round eyes were staring blankly at the figure standing on top of the two-headed rhinoceros turtle. Could it be? The god of war clone disappeared again with a whoosh. That figure, and the familiar feeling, it must be him. The girl murmured to herself, her eyes that had dimmed suddenly became sparkling. He even ran away. Do you think I can't recognize him? That fool. Guan Xiao wrote a novel and put his hand on his chest, which was beginning to take shape. His chest was still pounding uncontrollably. Guan Xiaoxiao, really, why is your heart beating so fast? It's really useless. I don't like him. The arrogant girl puffed up her face and talked to herself in a deceptive way, covering up her inner shyness. After taking a deep breath, with a smile on her face, Guan Xiaoxiao looked at the sky and murmured. It's better to hold on a little longer. A giant tree several hundred meters high stands on the top of the Black Hill. The tree crown blocks the sky and the sun, and countless thick roots like snakes and pythons are tightly entangled on the black earth. Only a narrow road winding upwards led to the Black Hill. At the beginning of the narrow road, at this moment, there stood a young girl, with black hair hanging down to her buttocks, an extremely beautiful face, and a pair of ice blue eyes showing an everlasting indifference. Is that the entrance to the hidden map? Lin Qingyan raised her head and looked ahead at the narrow road. There is an arched stone gate in the distance, and you can see the presence of a barrier and a guarding boss. But for Lin Qingyan, it's the same. Just when she was about to take a step, there was movement behind him. Turn around and look. An ordinary-looking young man walked over with a big sword on his back. Finally found it, the young man said in surprise. When he saw Lin Qingyan, He was surprised at first. He seemed to realize that he was rude, quickly scratched his head, and said hello sheepishly. Hello. Lin Qingyan glanced at him. His physique is a bit special, and it seems to be some kind of hidden profession. In the spiritual realm, there seems to be some secrets hidden. In the young man's spiritual realm, the mysterious old man said, "Boy, be careful, this girl is not an ordinary person. If you don't pay attention, you will be instantly killed. Don't blame me for not warning you." The young man was stunned. "Huh. Are you also here for the hidden map?" Lin Qingyan said calmly. Listen to her beautiful but cold voice. The young man scratched his head and said, "Yes, I accidentally killed a ferocious beast and a map was revealed, so I wanted to try my luck here." The words are not finished yet. Sleep. As the words came out of the girl's mouth, it was like giving an order. The young man felt his head sink, and a strong sense of sleepiness surged into his heart, making him droop his eyelids and make him fall asleep. At the critical moment, the old man in the spiritual realm shouted, "Wake up." The boy woke up with a start. Then I heard the beautiful girl opposite said with interest, "Oh." The young man broke into a cold sweat and pulled out the big sword from his back, staring at Lin Qingyan. "I am Wu Ping from Wuan City, classmate, may I ask who you are?" "You really hid your profession." A clear voice sounded with an unmistakable voice. The two turned to look. A touch of dreamy purple comes into view. Lin Qingyan narrowed her eyes. "It's you." With a chuckle like a silver bell, Luo Shi, with purple hair and purple eyes, and a graceful figure walked out of the shadows. She holds a staff in her hand and wears a high-slit moire robe, and the hint of snow she inadvertently reveals is extremely alluring. A flawless face with flawless facial features and delicate facial features, which combines the style of a royal sister and a girl. She has the pure desire and maturity of a senior. She also wears a monocle jewelry on her right eye, matching the pair of the charming purple eyes look both noble and mysterious. "I knew you weren't that simple." "That's fine, you are worthy of being my opponent." Luo Shi stared at Lin Qingyan and smiled. The two women looked at each other, completely ignoring the young man named Wu Ping. Wu Ping. That. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several sharp sword energy shot out, attacking three people at the same time. Wu Ping blocked with his big sword and was knocked back a few steps. The mental barrier formed a sphere to protect Luo Shi. Lin Qingyan didn't even look. She easily avoided the attack by shaking her body. Qin Nansen, who had 6 scabbards suspended behind his back, clasped his hands behind his head, also appeared in this area, grinning and saying, "It's still lively here. How about adding me?" "And I." A boy with a strong build, dark skin, and his arms wrapped in bandages also came out. He cupped his fists and bowed his head to several people and said in salute, "Tianan City, Niuzan. I've met you all. It only takes a few minutes." 3 men and 2 women gathered here. They are all famous geniuses from all over the world. Lin Qingyan glanced at it. Just by looking at the breath, you can tell that the levels are basically between LV5 LV9. But alas, none of them are their opponents. Luo Shi chuckled and said, "The entrance to the hidden map is right in front, but I don't think anyone wants to let it go, right?" Wu Ping. I think it would be good to form a team together." Lin Qingyan said calmly. "I have no plans to form a team with anyone." "Me too." Luo Shi put her hands on her hips. Her extremely slender waist and protruding round hips were in perfect proportion. "In that case." Qin Nansen stretched out his hand and an iron sword flew into his hand, with an excited and crazy smile on his face. "Then let's have a fight." Niu Zan nodded. "Whoever wins will be eligible to enter the hidden map. It's fair to speak based on strength." They are all talented people who are quite confident in their own strength. Now that they have entered the dungeon, everyone wants to be the first, so they are naturally ready to fight. There was no warning. A dark shadow rushed out from the shadow of a tree not far away, split into 5, covered in darkness, and rushed towards several people with a dagger in hand. The 6th person hiding in the dark, the #1 genius in Daihai City, Mo Guang. "I've been waiting for you for a long time," Qin Nansen said excitedly, taking a step forward and stroking the iron sword with his palm, adding a layer of pitch-black light to the sword body. Sword rain. A sword was swung out, bringing out countless sword shadows, instantly plowing the ground in front of him. The black shadow that rushed in front of him also disappeared in the sword light. Others also took action one after another to annihilate the black shadows rushing in front of them. But the next second, a black shadow appeared in the air behind Wu Ping like a ghost, obviously deciding to deal with the weakest one first. Whoosh! He stabbed out the rare blood-sucking dagger in his hand, like a poisonous snake spitting out messages in the dark night, silently killing people. Kang! The dagger cut through the clothes and stabbed into the hard dragon scales, spraying out sparks. Mo Guang was startled. What? Assassin classmate, I'm sorry. Wu Ping turned his head. His face was also covered by green dragon scales, and he said sheepishly, I awakened the S-level talent, human dragon body. So your attacks can't hurt me. Mo Guang made a sound. Those who can reach this place are definitely not ordinary people. Whoosh! The sword swung down. Mo Guang took one step ahead and flashed out 10 meters away with his ghost body technique. As soon as I stood firm, something fell from the sky. I looked up. Aha! Niu Zan clenched his fist and fell from the sky, punching it down. Boom! A large crater was created on the ground, and the shock wave caused Mo Guang, who had narrowly avoided it, to retreat more than 10 meters. Come into my world, Mr. Assassin. A charming voice sounded, and as soon as Mo Guang raised his head, he saw a strange purple light. His spiritual realm instantly lost control, and his eyes became dim and hollow. Clang! 2 blood-sucking daggers fell from their hands, and Luo Shi bent down to pick them up. Just have a good dream in the fantasy world. Wu Ping, who was watching this scene not far away, broke into a cold sweat and thought to himself. Teacher, what kind of ability does she have? It's so weird. If I guess correctly, it should be an epic level profession, the illusion whisperer. Just words can make people fall into illusions. Be careful not to listen or look. Good. Wu Ping clenched the sword in his hand and stared at the people standing in different postures, his palms became sweaty. For such a powerful assassin to be killed so quickly shows how terrifying these people are. If you're not careful, you will be the next one eliminated. Among these people, the most terrifying one is probably the black-haired girl. The old man's voice was solemn. Wu Ping was stunned and looked at Lin Qingyan. Just this one look. He was surprised to see that the beautiful girl, whose expression had remained cold and indifferent from the beginning until now, suddenly changed slightly. Look in one direction. The expression changed a bit. She seemed to be frowning, as if she was saying, sure enough, we're here. Tap tap tap. Footsteps. Who is it? Wu Ping turned his head and looked curiously. Under the watchful eyes of several people, a slender and well-proportioned figure walked out of the shadows. He was wearing a black and white school uniform, with his hands in his jacket pockets. His handsome face gradually appeared in the dim light, as if he was not used to the light. His expression was lazy, as casual and indifferent as if he was going to the supermarket. The black-haired boy opened his eyes slightly. A flash of blazing golden eyes accompanied by invisible pressure overflowed from him. Qin Nansen and Niu Zan, who were still fighting, couldn't help but stop their hands and turn to look. The moment Wu Ping saw those golden eyes, his heart seemed to be grabbed by invisible hands, and a sense of fear swept through his body for no reason, making him tremble involuntarily. Impossible. The old man in his mind also screamed in incredible shock. How can such a young boy possess the power of martial arts? Even the prototype is enough to shock people. Luo Shi looked at Zhang Yuan with surprise and thought to herself. It's him. Under her single-sided glasses, her charming purple eyes were full of brilliance and curiosity, and she looked at Zhang Yuan with interest. Compared to the last time I saw him at Thunder Martial Arts Hall, his edge became more powerful and dazzling. Are you not planning to hide your strength? There are so many people here. Are they all here for the hidden map? Zhang Yuan said. His eyes glanced at Luo Shi and everyone present. LV6, LV8, LV6. Finally, his eyes were fixed on Lin Qingyan. As expected of her, she is already LV9. Qin Nansen stared at Zhang Yuan and smiled with interest. Are you that Zhang Yuan? I've heard about you. It seems like you can play better than the rumors say. Zhang Yuan glanced at him. He is indeed better than you. Haha, so arrogant, I like it. Qin Nansen laughed, then narrowed his eyes and raised the corners of his mouth. Then I'll see how many of my swords you can take. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. He raised his hand and pointed at Zhang Yuan, and 3 iron swords flew out from the suspended scabbard behind him, shooting toward Zhang Yuan with black sword light. Zhang Yuan didn't even move. His energy and blood shook. Crimson ripples spread from his body and 3 iron swords flew away. Ping, ping, ping. Niu Zan's eyes flashed. What an amazing energy. Oh, when Qin Nansen saw this, a flash of heat flashed across the short-haired ruffian's face. Something. Whoosh. 3 more black swords flew out of the scabbard behind him. Shwashwashua. 6 iron swords flew rapidly in the air, surrounding Zhang Yuan and making a sharp whistling sound that cut the air. Swish, swish, swish. A series of criss-crossing black sword energies combined to form an astonishingly powerful sword formation, and they converged towards Zhang Yuan. Just the radiating edge plowed straight marks on the hard ground. The enemy's sword formation is trapped in the shape of one. Qin Nansen stood in the distance with a calm expression. You are trapped by my sword formation and even a mosquito cannot fly out. What should you do? Lin Qingyan looked strange. Is this attack worth showing off? Is he out of his mind? Do you know what kind of pervert you are facing? Clang 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 clang. Accompanied by the metallic collision sound of sharp weapons piercing steel, Zhang Yuan, covered in crimson blood and armor, calmly walked out of the sword formation, while all the black swords that were slashing at him were bounced away. In everyone's shocked eyes, Qin Nansen couldn't believe it. Zhang Yuan held an iron sword with his bare hands and smiled at him. As the sword formation you are talking about this kind of junk? Then with a little force in his hand, his energy and blood trembled, and he shattered the black sword with his bare hands. Qin Nansen was silent for several seconds, then looked at Zhang Yuan, his face changed slightly. Are you a warrior epic profession, or a physical talent? S level, or SS level? I'm an assassin. ... Everyone had a look like you're kidding me. Qin Nansen felt that he was being teased and ridiculed, and his face became a little gloomy. Don't think you will win if you break my sword. He raised his hand and pointed, and all the broken sword blades flew back to him, and were reassembled into a perfect black sword. The talent of the iron wielder, turning iron into a sword. Plus, Qin Nansen held the broken and reorganized black sword, slashed towards Zhang Yuan in the air, and said coldly. Type 3, Thunder Sword Formation. The 5 black swords flying in the air instantly changed their trajectories, crisscrossing the air at extremely high speeds, and cutting out a sword energy array. Crack, crack. A series of thunder and lightning arcs were generated along with the sword light, intertwined with countless sword energy and crushing Zhang Yuan below. Hiss, it's so powerful. Wu Ping exclaimed, I don't know if my dragon body can block it. Niu Zan also stared at this scene closely, and he also felt a strong sense of danger from this move. Looking at Zhang Yuan, who still looked calm in the face of the approaching lightning sword formation, Luo Shi thought to herself, how should you respond to this move? Use your spiritual skills quickly. There was anticipation in her eyes. Qin Nan and Sun Chong shouted proudly to Zhang Yuan, who was enveloped by the sword array, I advise you to use all your strength, otherwise, you will either die or be injured. Is it? Zhang Yuan smiled. Subsequently, punch out. Boom. An extremely dull air blast sounded like thunder, making Wu Ping's heart jump in fright. The terrifying wind pressure swept across in all directions, lifted off the ground, swept away all the incoming lightning arcs and sword energy with an almost crushing momentum, and ruthlessly tore the entire sword array into pieces. Varied. Qin Nansen hadn't realized what happened. A figure appeared in front of him, and in his sight, a hand kept enlarging. Then, slap Qin Nansen on the face. Snapped. Accompanied by an extremely clear slap. Qin Nansen's handsome little face, which attracted much attention in the school, instantly deformed and twisted, and then... Bang! The terrifying energy exploded, and the airwaves exploded. Under the power of that slap, Qin Nansen's body spun uncontrollably like a top, spinning faster and faster until it turned into a phantom and could not stop at all. Quote. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. Luo Shi and others were dumbfounded. A prodigy who awakened his S-level talent and hid his profession was just knocked down by a slap in the face. Zhang Yuan said calmly, with this little strength, I don't know what you are pretending to be. Hiss. Wu Ping sucked in cold air, his temples kept twitching, a bursting sensation came over him, and his scalp felt numb. If he were completely transformed into a dragon, he should be able to receive this slap, should. Among several people, only Lin Qingyan looked calm. But in fact, she was also a little shaken inside. Did not expect. He unexpectedly became a second-level transition warrior so quickly. I couldn't beat him when we were both at the first level, but I'm afraid it's even worse now. Lin Qingyan bit her teeth. Hateful. Why can this fool become stronger faster than his reborn self? Goddess Lin had a cold face and complained in her heart. Boom. After turning around for hundreds of times, Qin Nansen slammed to the ground with his face on the ground. The prodigy of the Qin family, who was transferred to a sword formation master with shocking damage and a combination of offense and defense. He was known to have the appearance of a king. Just because of a slap, he fell to the ground with a swollen pig face. He completely fainted and lost all face. Zhang Yuan looked at Luo Shi, who couldn't help but take a half step back, with some fear in her eyes. If she was like Qin Nansen and was slapped into a pig-headed top, it would be better to die. You won't argue with me about this hidden map, right? Zhang Yuan had a kind smile on his face. Several people were silent, and Wu Ping didn't even dare to breathe. He didn't know if it was his own illusion, but he felt that the old man in the spiritual realm had been silent since the appearance of this black-haired, golden-eyed boy of the same age. Then I won't be polite, Zhang Yuan said, swaggering past Lin Qingyan and heading towards the entrance of the hidden map. Annoying guy. Lin Qingyan secretly hated it. But now is not the time to fight him. If he is eliminated, I am afraid that he will not even be able to enter the top 10, which will be a big loss. Even if you can't get first place, you should at least get second place. Looking at Zhang Yuan's retreating figure, Niu Zan asked, what should I say? Just watch him enter the hidden map. Wu Ping smiled bitterly. Otherwise, what else do you want to do? I can't beat him. Niu Zan, there should be a chance to attack together. Luo Shi was a little moved and looked at Lin Qingyan. What did you say? If you want to go, just go, don't count me in. Lin Qingyan said coldly. There are more than just this hidden map in the dungeon. She also has a map leading to another hidden map in her hand, so there is no need to take risks. Finished. She turned and left. Niu Zan didn't want to give up yet. He looked at Zhang Yuan's back in the distance, who was about to reach the entrance, with firm eyes. Now all the monsters with higher levels in the dungeon have been wiped out. The elite monsters are hiding in the map, and you can't enter the hidden map. As for the map, our points will definitely not increase. We just have to fight. Just when he took a deep breath and planned to rush forward to challenge Zhang Yuan. Boom, boom, the ground shakes at the entrance to the hidden hell on the road ahead. An extremely huge green centipede emerged from the ground and stood in front of Zhang Yuan, shrouding him in a huge shadow. Its body is tens of meters long, and its raised head is as high as a 3-story building. Its 8 lantern-sized eyes are looking directly at Zhang Yuan below. Its ferocious mouthparts make a harsh cry, and it carries a smelly wind towards Zhang Yuan. The source rushes towards you. Ferocious beast of the abyss, 100-legged blood-venomous centipede. Level Elite. Level LV19. Skills Death Ray, Roll, Poison Gas, Poison Sting. Evaluation: an elite monster with extremely thick blood volume, high defense, and strong attack power. The poison gas it releases can reduce its health by a percentage per second, which is quite dangerous. Hiss, such a strong beast. Luo Shi was a little frightened. She can use her special talent to sense the strength of ferocious beasts. The weaker one emits white light, the stronger one emits yellow light, but this monster emits a rich blood-colored red light. It is quite dangerous. Can he alone deal with such a second-level elite monster? Wu Ping raised his hand cautiously and said, well, when he fights with the gatekeeper monster, we can take action together. Even if we can't do anything to him, we can still take the opportunity to pass through the entrance and enter the hidden map. Luo Shi and Niu Zan's eyes lit up. Good idea. Luo Shi and the others concealed their presence and came behind Zhang Yuan to observe secretly. Clang, clang, clang. The giant centipede twisted its huge body, and its iron-made cyan body and barbs rubbed against the ground, making a strange and crisp metal friction sound. Its 8 glowing red eyes stared at the tiny human in front of it, feeling a hint of threat from the other person, which made it dare not act rashly. The blood bar exceeds 500,000, and he is worthy of being an elite monster. Zhang Yuan used an appraisal, clenched his fist, kicked off his feet, rushed to the giant centipede with a strong wind, and punched out. The giant centipede also twisted its body and chose to collide with him head-on. Boom! Two powerful forces collided together, two wind pressures exploded in the air, and the airwaves surged. Zhang Yuan was thrown out and flew in the air, with a trace of surprise on his handsome face. This was the first time that he was at a disadvantage in a duel of strength. This shows how high the basic attributes of this quasi-third-level elite monster are. But soon, the surprise on his face turned into excitement, the corners of his mouth raised, and a pleasant smile appeared on his face. Kingthorn, the 100-legged blood-poisonous centipede moved quickly, opened its huge and sharp mouthparts and bit Zhang Yuan, trying to swallow him into its belly. He adjusted his body shape in the air and faced the giant centipede head-on. Hiss! Zhang Yuan took a deep breath, as if to drain the surrounding air, and then his eyes were focused, and his right fist was covered with crimson flames and traces of black thunder. Black thunder, flash, punch out, hit the giant centipede right in the forehead. Bang! There was a loud noise, and the giant centipede suddenly stopped in its forward motion, like a speeding train that was suddenly stopped. And Zhang Yuan also hit the ground like a meteor under the counter-shock force, creating a huge human-shaped pit. Crack! The giant centipede's head was as black as a thick armor with a crack in it, and countless bursting crimson ripples were transmitted to its body along with the punch, making its whole body numb and tingling, as if it had been struck by lightning. A series of numbers popped up on the health bar. Minus 18,932. 1. 18,000. Luo Shi, who arrived not far away, let out a shocking cry. Niu Zan was horrified and said, "This is still the case where most of the damage is defended. Even if his martial arts skills cause armor breaking and penetration effects, the damage will be at least over 100,000. 10. 100,000. Are you lying?" Wu Ping couldn't help but swallowed, and looked at the person in front of him who was about the same age as him with a shocked expression. Boom! Snapped! Bang! The damage it received made the giant centipede go crazy, destroying and crushing all around with its huge body. Niu Zan, he is indeed an elite monster guarding the goal. Even if he does high damage, he can't withstand such an attack. I think we should go together. Luo Shi didn't have time to speak. Whoosh! Zhang Yuan's unscathed figure ejected from the pothole and appeared in front of the crazy giant centipede. He kicked up with a strong wind, accompanied by a roar of air explosion, and hit the giant centipede's head, knocking off half of its huge body. The body was kicked into the air. Under the shocked gazes of Luo Shi and the others, he appeared in all directions of the giant centipede at an extremely fast speed, and disappeared again every time he punched, as if countless afterimages appeared. Bang! 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 The giant centipede's body kept exploding with energy, and the explosions continued, and its body was injured one after another, and the cracks continued to expand. Hiss! The giant centipede was beaten to madness, twisting its body and crushing all directions. Its 8 eyes continued to shoot destructive death light, but all that was destroyed were afterimages. Minus 19,020. Minus 17,392. Minus 18,393. Each punch contains crimson ripples, with the added power of fire, which can cause it to break its defense. Really injured fists fall on it like raindrops from all directions, and the shock wave penetrates its body, making it miserable. Every second is torture. Puff! Unable to bear it, the giant centipede raised its body high, and a large amount of purple poisonous gas spurted out from under its shell, covering the entire area. Oops! It's extremely poisonous. Get back quickly. Seeing the poisonous mist coming, Luo Shi and the others hurriedly retreated. You enter a poisoned state. Minus 10. Minus 10. Minus 10. Zhang Yuan's head, deep in the poisonous mist, kept turning red. But it didn't last more than a few seconds. Ding! The effect of the fire-breathing method is triggered, and the power of the fire purifies the toxicity. Zhang Yuan, whose whole body was shrouded in a layer of faint golden flames, stood in the purple poisonous mist, with his black hair flying and his golden eyes shining, like a god protecting his body. Hiss! The giant centipede looked at him with human-like doubts in its 8 eyes, wondering why its poisonous mist was useless to him. Buzz! A pair of golden eyes appeared in its spiritual realm. Spiritual thorn. The centipede blood poisonous centipede let out a shrill howl of pain, and its body continued to twist. Minus 28,291. A black light flashed in Zhang Yuan's eyes, invading the Beizu blood poison centipede's spiritual realm. Spiritual skill, endless cage. The centipede's blood poisonous centipede only felt that his eyes went dark, and the surrounding scene suddenly changed, and he came to an extremely dark and deep abyss of the universe. When he raised his head again, the tiny human just now became bigger than the stars, looking down at the world as indifferently and ruthlessly as a god. It is as small as an insect in the dark. Endless fear submerged like a tide, and the mental realm was close to collapse. Boom! The stiff-bodied blood-venomous centipede fell in front of Zhang Yuan, and his 8 eyes were completely dark. Minus 6,392. Minus 7,372. Minus 6,936. Blue mental damage values continuously jumped above its head. In the face of this powerful illusion skill that can generally only be used by 5th-level spiritual system warriors who have transferred to another profession, monsters with quasi-3rd-level non-spiritual system talents can only suffer the fate of being slaughtered, and will never be able to escape the darkness. After 2 minutes, the blood bar cleared. Ding! If you kill the centipede, your experience will be plus 1293. Ding! Points plus 20. Ding! You get rare equipment, blood venom armor. Ding! You get a rare skill book 1. Ding! You get a rare crystal 1. Ding! You have obtained the material, the poisonous sac of the centipede. Ding! You have obtained the material, the eyeball of the centipede with blood poison. Ding! You have obtained the material, the centipedes. The effect of elite monster plus golden rule. Let Zhang Yuan have another big hit and make a lot of money. After collecting the loot, Zhang Yuan took out the key to the Sea of Trees and approached the entrance. With the key of the Sea of Trees glowing, the barrier is opened. Zhang Yuangong stepped into it. There was a tingling sound in my ear. Ding! You have entered the hidden map, the Lost Giant Tree. After clearing this map, you can reach the final map of the instance. Wait until the poisonous fog dissipates. Luo Shi and the others looked up and saw that Zhang Yuan was gone, leaving only the tragic body of the giant centipede. It's over. Wu Ping couldn't believe it. Luo's eyes face was also full of shock. This is too fast. I'll take the first step. Niu Zan, who was the first to react, turned into a black shadow and passed by the two of them and entered the entrance. Only then did Luo Shi and Wu Ping react. Seeing that the barrier was gradually recovering, they hurriedly entered it. Hide map. Giant lost tree. As big as a mountain, a leaf on a giant tree towering into the clouds is as big as a house. Zhang Yuan walked on the thick roots of black knotted trees as big as the driveway, and the road continued upward. Is this a hidden map? The breath of life is very strong. Zhang Yuan thought to himself. The effect of the fire-breathing method is more than 10 times better than usual. A large amount of life breath nourishes the cells in the body, keeping him in the best condition every moment. Whoosh, whoosh, several crackling sounds came from the air. Zhang Yuan turned his head to avoid it. Several stingers shot into the ground. Look up. Several giant brown-green insects flew in the air and opened their ferocious mouthparts towards Zhang Yuan. Abyss monster. Curare insect. Grade ordinary. Level LV-17. Skills poison arrow, venom explosion. Evaluation a giant insect covered in poison. Its poisonous arrows and habit of exploding when it gets close to creatures make it extremely lethal. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Another round of poison arrow attacks. Zhang Yuan stamped his foot. Boom. The crimson ripples spread, deflecting the incoming poisonous arrows, and spread along the tree roots to the bottom of several poisonous insects. Then, it suddenly burst out like a pillar of fire, hitting the poisonous insects in the air. Phew. The giant insects hit by the crimson ripples trembled as if struck by lightning, making shrill insect sounds, then fell to the ground and exploded with a bang. Snapped, snapped, snapped. The scope of the explosion was huge, accompanied by deep purple venom splashing everywhere. Ding. You kill the curare insect and gain experience plus 1238. Ding. You kill. After becoming a second-level warrior. The damage caused by Zhang Yuan's attributes is completely overflowing for this ordinary level second-level beast with high attack and low defense. It's just an instant kill. Ding. You kill the poisonous curare insect and obtain materials, low-level life crystal +1. Quote? Zhang Yuan curiously picked up the light green crystal stone on the ground. Appraisal. Life crystal, low level, a rare crystal containing weak life energy, which can be used to make high-level potions, recovery props and equipment, etc. I've seen people offering high-level life crystals at high prices in the star territory before. They seem to be very rare and difficult to explode. I didn't expect that there would be such a hidden map. Zhang Yuan was a little surprised. Although it is only low level, it may become intermediate or even high level later. With expectation, Zhang Yuan looked forward. Looking at the giant tree that towers into the clouds in front of me, I don't know how many ferocious beasts are hidden there. He whispered in a low voice. It has been almost a day since entering the dungeon. Considering the progress of others, we can't waste time if we want to get first place. Let's make a quick decision. He stretched out his hand and reached forward, and a bone gun with a dark golden luster appeared in his hand. Zhang Yuan held a 2-meter-long bone gun and began to run upward along the roots of the tree, speeding up. Quack! First, a giant poison frog burst into view. Not even waiting for it to spit out its fat tongue. Whoa! Zhang Yuan swung out a spear and split it in two. A few more kilometers ahead. Rushing into the territory of a group of armored ants, each one is as big as a tank and is made of iron. Tower! 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 They rushed towards Zhang Yuan like an army. At this moment, Zhang Yuan's speed was so fast that he couldn't see the figure clearly. There was only a whooshing sound. A crimson light passed straight through the armored ants. Wherever it passed, all the armored ants were cut into two. Ding! You kill the armored ant LV-16 and get. Ding! You kill. Ding! Your level has improved, your current level is LV-11. Zhang Yuan's speed was getting faster and faster, and the prompts in his ears could not keep up with the speed of killing monsters. There were bursts of thunderous sonic booms as he moved, and his momentum was extremely shocking. Seen from a distance, his figure is like an unstoppable crimson beam, chopping melons and vegetables, crushing all the ferocious beasts on the road, and advancing towards the upper level of the giant tree non-stop. The other side, outside world, Zhang Provincial Education Bureau. Located 100 meters underground, in a huge and hidden secret base, there is a huge light ball suspended. Inside the light ball is the entire copy of the map. There are countless light spots in it, but the light spots keep extinguishing and disappearing. An old man wearing black formal clothes, with white beard and hair, and a majestic look walked in through the portal. Everyone who saw him bowed respectfully. I've met the deputy director. Hello, deputy director. How is the situation now? Asked Yun Zai, deputy director of education, Zhang Provincial Martial Arts Department. Of the 780,000 candidates in Zhang Province, 430,000, more than half, have been eliminated so far, and this number is still increasing. Someone answered. Has anyone entered the hidden map? Yun Zai asked again. Yes. 4 people entered the Lost Giant Tree, 3 people entered Dryad Maze, and 3 people entered Insect Sea Cave. It is expected that this year's Zhang Province champion will be born among these 10 people. The staff member replied. With this year's level of difficulty, how can it be recommended so quickly on the first day? It seems that the quality of this year's candidates is very high. Yun Zai nodded. In this way, the director's efforts to design such a copy will not be in vain. In a certain room, a white-haired boy was sound asleep. The female staff member wearing gold-rimmed glasses, high heels and a black uniform nodded and said. This year's dungeon is not only more difficult, but also has more chance treasures. The hidden map is made from a combination of several old ruins. Apart from the white game, we all know a little about the secrets hidden inside. For candidates, even if you can't pass the level, it will be a very rewarding and experiential trial. This is also by Bureau's original intention in designing this copy. Yun Zai nodded and said. He looked at the current standings and couldn't help but be stunned. Nanzhong No. 1 Middle School, Zhang Yuan, 402. Beizhong No. 1 Middle School, Pei Kongyan, 287. Nanzhong No. 1 Middle School, Lin Junhao, 277. Lingquan No. 1 Middle School, Zhengdong, 265. Nanzhong No. 1 Middle School, Lin Qingyan, 249. Nanzhong No. 1 Middle School, Sha Qinghu, 231. Guanwu Number 2 Middle School, Cheng Ningning, 209. Yun Zai looked at the staff. What's going on with this first place? Why is the score so high? The female staff member smiled bitterly. Well, we don't know yet, but after testing, the data should be correct. From just now to now, the rankings from 2nd to 19th have been constantly changing. Only the first place, the candidate named Zhang Yuan, has a considerable gap between him and the others, and this gap is still widening. While the two were talking, Zhang Yuan's points jumped from 402 to 431, and within 2 seconds, they jumped from 431 to 454. Hiss. Yun Zai couldn't help but take a breath. Anyway, this is too fast. Nanjong Number 1 Middle School. Yun Zai couldn't help but ask, what talent and profession did he awaken? Well, the female staff member looked embarrassed and hesitated. What's wrong? Actually, according to our investigation, he registered an E-level talent and an ordinary assassin profession. The female staff member said with a wry smile. After Yun Zai was stunned for 2 seconds, he showed an expression that looked like you were kidding me. His points have skyrocketed again, exclaimed another. Yun Zai looked and saw that Zhang Yuan's points had changed from 454 to 498. On the light ball, a point of light moves very quickly in the hidden map representing the Lost Giant Tree. He entered the 3rd level of the Lost Giant Tree, and moved towards the 4th level at an astonishing speed. Is he really a high school student? The staff exclaimed in shock. After Yun Zai was silent for a moment, he said to the female staff member, get all his information right away. Yes. The second day of the college entrance examination, 8:40 in the morning. Beijing City, First People's Hospital. Dao Chunru changed into a nurse's clothes and walked on the road with several colleagues. Colleagues talked about the college entrance examination while walking. Have you seen it? I heard that this year's college entrance examination is very difficult. Yes, it's very rare. My second uncle's daughter's qi and blood levels have exceeded 9. She was able to survive in previous years, but I didn't expect that she was eliminated before the end of the first day this year. By the way, Sister Mo, how is that boy in your family? Don't mention it. I was eliminated yesterday afternoon and was ranked outside the 400,000th place. I have no chance of choosing Wuhan University. I heard that the girl who ranked 2nd in the province in total points was an orphan and lived with an older sister. You live in the community next to me, and if you tell me, it's really annoying. That's a top genius who has awakened SS level talent. How can ordinary people compete with her? If you want to be more liberal, you can't pass the exam if you can't. As long as the child is not lazy or stupid, there is always a way out. Quote. Yeah, I think it's good to be an ordinary person. At least there's no danger. Dao Chunru also comforted. By the way, Sister Chunru, is your son also taking the college entrance examination? How is he doing? Sister Mo asked, turning the topic to Dao Chunru. Several people also looked at her. Dao Chunru said embarrassedly, I don't know yet. I sent him a message last night, but he didn't reply. A slightly younger female nurse next to me thought. I remember Sister Chunru's son seems to be named Zhang. Zhang Yuan, right? Zhang Yuan. Sister Mo was surprised, and then said with a joking smile, I think the candidate who currently ranks 1st in total points in Zhang province is also named Zhang Yuan. He is also from Nanjong Number 1 Middle School. Could it be? He is your son, Sister Chunru, right? Maybe it's possible. Listening to the teasing of several people, Dao Chunru forced a smile and said, I think they are not the same person, they just have the same name and surname. Sister Mo interrupted before she could finish her words, I think so. After all, your son has only awakened his E-level talent. How can he become the number 1 scholar in the province? And he is still leading by a cliff. When I watched last night, he had more than 600 points. When he woke up this morning, he had more than 900 points. He was more than 400 points ahead of the 2nd place. It's really an exaggeration, another female nurse exclaimed with emotion. He said, I really don't know how his parents gave birth to such a monster. The young female nurse also looked at Dao Chunru expectantly. Sister Chunru, your son is also from Nanjong Number 1 Middle School. If you have a chance, can you ask him to help me get the autograph of the top pick? When he becomes a big shot in the future, he will definitely do it. It's extremely valuable. Dao Chunru was about to say something, but was interrupted by Sister Mo. Such a super genius must have skyrocketed after the college entrance examination. How can ordinary people have the qualifications to come close? Xiao Li, I think you should not embarrass Sister Chunru. Makes sense. As they talked, they walked to the hospital hall, but were surprised to find that the hall was filled with patients. Sister Lily, what is going on? Xiao Li asked in shock. Another nurse who was already busy using her skills to heal patients said with sweat on her face, early this morning, a big explosion suddenly occurred on the Riverside Bridge, killing and injuring hundreds of people. Riverside again. Sister Mo was surprised, as this the first time this month that a problem has occurred. Today, not only our side, but also several riverside accidents and disasters occurred in Nanjing City across the Posu River. I really don't know what happened. Dao Chunru felt a little worried after hearing this. My sister Dao Yufeng's family lives in a community not far from the Posuo River. I don't know if they have been affected. And Xiaoyuan, why can't I get through on the phone? Are you still taking the college entrance examination? But don't let anything happen. Stop dawdling, come here and help. Coming. Nanjing City. In a factory near Linjiang, the original food factory has now been turned into ruins, with the ground scorched black and thick smoke billowing. In a charred pit as big as a basketball court, there were still grotesque alien bodies, but they were completely lifeless at the moment. Wait until Zhang Wei arrives. Yan Runin was standing on the edge of the pit, her dreamy blue hair fluttering in the wind. Thank you for your hard work, Zhang Wei said. Yan Runin turned around and smiled. It's a small matter, just treat me to hot pot later. Zhang Wei smiled, looked into the pit, and his smile faded. Yan Runin said, recently, the Abyss believers in Nanjing City have become more and more active. This is not a good sign. I know, and there's one thing that's very concerning. Tell me. Yan Runin, whose eyes were covered by black forge, looked towards the Posuo River not far away, whether it is the collective activities of Abyss believers who use mental pollution on civilians, or those warriors who are contaminated by the flesh and blood of strange creatures, their activities are very close to the Posuo River. Quote, I have discovered this a long time ago, but after several investigations of the Posuo River, we came to the conclusion that. Zhang Wei rubbed the flame with his hand, lit the cigarette, took a deep breath and said. Nothing unusual, not even a trace of a ferocious beast. That's the biggest anomaly, Yan Runin whispered. She looked up at the sky. Perhaps it won't be long before the truth comes to light. Zhang Wei, is this a prophecy or a warning? Yan Runin shook his head and said nothing. She jumped down from around the pothole, her tone returning to its usual brisk and casual tone. Anyway, Chairman Qin and Director Liu are still there to hold up the sky if it falls, so I can just join in the fun. When I abduct a few junior students and return to Shenwu, I can return to the imperial capital to get credits, hee. Hearing her words, Zhang Wei thought of something and said with a strange expression, the one who currently ranks first in points in Zhang province could be the same one last time. Yan Runin snapped his fingers, bingo, you guessed it right. How about it? I have good taste, right? Listening to her laughter, Zhang Wei sighed and sighed. I didn't expect that the young man with an average family, average job transfer, and E-level talent in the file records would actually have such strength. It's really so hidden. What kind of talent do you think he awakened? Zhang Wei asked. I don't know this, I can't tell. Yan Runin said, and then added, but there is one thing I can be sure of. What? Based on my judgment, his combat power should be close to level 3. And Yan Runin thought of those blazing golden eyes and whispered, I felt a trace of indescribable danger in him. Zhang Wei kept a dull expression and stood there blankly, his lips slightly open but unable to say a word. A first-level transferred warrior with a third-level combat power. It can also make you feel dangerous. What international joke are you playing on me? No more, no more. I'm going to have some snacks with my friends. Don't call me if you have nothing to do. I'm very busy. After Yan Runin finished speaking, he ignored Zhang Wei who was still in a daze and turned to leave. Long after she left, Zhang Weikai gradually came back to his senses. Zhang Yuan, I never expected that Nanjing City would produce such a genius. Zhang Wei looked solemn. He is very aware of Yan Runen's strength. She was the top scorer in the college entrance examination 2 years ago, but her S-level talent is a legendary profession. After joining Shenwu University, her combat power has soared. Now she is a 4th-level warrior. If she wants to, it's only a matter of time before you reach the 5th level. It made her feel a little bit of danger, and it was hard to imagine what secrets that young man had hidden in him. If these words had not come from Yan Runen's mouth but had been spoken by someone else, he would have just laughed it off and not believed it at all. But since it was Yan Runen's judgment, it couldn't be wrong. In addition to her powerful talent, her intuition is also as accurate as a prophecy talent. Zhang Wei took a deep breath from the cigarette, dropped it, and crushed it with his feet. Sure enough, it would be better for Bureau Lu to report. An underground research institute in Nanjing City. Someone was whispering in the dark. Quote, ... It's coming soon, they haven't discovered it yet. Disasters and diseases, rain falling from the sky, the whole city. Quote, ... This is purification, this is ritual. Congratulations on the arrival of the king. A little bit. Within the Provincial Department of Education. It was very busy with staff coming and going. The number of light spots on the giant light ball has been reduced to less than 1% after a day and night, and the remaining number of people is more than 60,000, and it continues to decrease at a rate of dozens of people per minute. According to this trend, I am afraid that only close to 1,000 students can survive until the 3rd day. A staff member reported. Although it is cruel, it is exactly what we want. Students who can survive in a difficult environment surrounded by ferocious beasts not only have strength, but also have perseverance, wisdom and the ability to adapt to changes in circumstances. Only such students are qualified to step into higher education stage and receive more resources. Deputy Director, teachers from Kunlun University and Civilization University are visiting, hoping to learn more about the first 100 students. Let them go back and wait until the college entrance examination is over. Yun Zai said, his eyes constantly falling on the more than 10 light spots that broke into the 3 hidden maps. Suddenly, 2 light spots in the abyss maze went out one after another. It's Chang Ningning from Guanwu number 2 middle school and Zheng Dong from Linquan number 1 middle school. They were eliminated. A staff member shouted. Dungeon abyss, Dryad labyrinth. Tread. Lin Junhao, who had a pale and handsome face, walked in the dim maze passage, and the sound of his leather boots colliding with the ground echoed in the long and narrow corridor. The sound attracts ferocious beasts. Flutter. A group of bloodthirsty moths as big as calves flapped their wings and flew towards him, their eyes glowing red. Lin Junhao raised his head, his eyes flashed with strange purple light. He raised his right hand, and the arm instantly stretched and enlarged, turning into a giant wooden hand, but it was full of slippery feeling and had a lot of viscous liquid attached to it. The giant wooden hand looks like a living thing, like a giant python opening its mouth and swallowing all the flying bloodthirsty moths in one bite. As the giant wooden hand returned to its original shape, Lin Junhao took a gulp in his throat as if he had swallowed something. It's almost, when you increase your strength, you can feel the power of the main body. Lin Junhao did not open his mouth, but a strange sound came from his mouth. The purple single eye on the back of the head was also constantly squirming under the flesh and blood, changing positions, and finally came to the forehead. Kukuku. Lin Junhao, with his one eye on his forehead emitting a strange purple light, opened his arms with a happy expression. With a weird laugh coming from his mouth, his arms and legs turned into smooth tree branches and continued to grow and spread, piercing the surrounding corridors and shooting towards the entire maze. The beasts in the maze will lose their ability to resist as long as they touch the tree branches, and will be swallowed directly by the huge mouth split by the tree branches. Chang Ningning, who was killing monsters and upgrading in another part of the maze, just felt the earthquake around her. Before she could react, the wall in front of her suddenly collapsed. Countless giant sticky tree branches came over like giant tentacles, crushing the 2 men fighting her. The vicious beast engulfed itself. What the hell? Chang Ningning was shocked. She changed her profession to a mechanic and immediately summoned a mechanical turret again, activating her S-level explosive talent. Bang bang bang. Boom. Da 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 da. The indiscriminate fire coverage was still difficult to resist the incoming tree tentacles. What the hell is this? Why is there such a thing in the copy? Chang Ningning broke out in cold sweat on his forehead. Did I hit some taboo trap? No time to think. Danger is approaching. She had no choice but to crush the teleportation stone and disappear into the maze at the last moment. Another genius who entered the Dryad Maze map, Zheng Dong from Linquan No. 1 Middle School, was also involved in this unreasonable disaster and ended the college entrance examination training with 352 points. The other side, Giant Lost Tree. After breaking into the second floor, Niu Zan was surrounded by a group of second-order ferocious beasts as big as houses, purple poisonous bullfrogs. The body and strength he was proud of faced the smooth frog skin that was soft but could withstand powerful attacks. Hard to break through. Coupled with the venom attack of the purple poison bullfrog and its sticky and soft tongue, he was trapped in a hard fight. Even if he used his talent, he could not escape. He had no choice but to crush the teleportation stone. The bullfight in the Giant Lost Tree has also been eliminated. A staff member of the Provincial Department of Education recorded. Hidden map, Insect Sea Cave. The 3 light spots slowly advanced deep into the ground at a gentle speed, and finally passed through 3 caves and converged in a cave deep underground. It's you. Sha Qinghu was a little surprised when he saw Lin Qingyan. I didn't expect you to get to this point. Quote. Lin Qingyan glanced at him coldly from the corner of her eye, not bothering to pay attention to him, but looked at the third person present. It was a girl with long silver white hair, gray pupils and snow-white skin. She was wearing a gray mage robe, holding a staff in her hand, and had a slender figure. She was followed by a 2-meter-tall skeleton knight holding a shield. Are you Pei Kongyan from Beijing No. 1 Middle School? Lin Qingyan asked. The girl with silver hair and gray eyes nodded and said, Who are you? Nanjiang No. 1 Middle School, Lin Qingyan. Lin Qingyan reported her family status. She had also heard of the other party's name in her previous life. In her previous life, she was the top scorer in Zhang Province's college entrance examination, had SS-level talent, and had a legendary profession. After the college entrance examination, she entered Civilization University. She graduated in just 1 year and became a 6th-level transfer martial artist, known as the Great Master. One of the top 10 supernovas in Sha, but for unknown reasons, he disappeared into the turmoil of an 8th-level abyss. If she lives, it can be said that becoming a king is a sure thing. In this life, if there is a chance, Lin Qingyan wants to take him under her command, so she will take the initiative to show her kindness. Pei Kongyan looked at Sha Qinghu. He smoothed his bangs and said, Same Nanjiang No. 1 Middle School, Sha Qinghu. The silver-haired girl nodded and said in a nice and delicate voice. I can feel it, you are very powerful. But I promised my sister that I would become stronger and become No. 1, so. Sorry, please get out of here. The moment the words fell, a huge magic circle emerged under her body, and the mysterious elemental power spread from her body, lifting up her silver hair. Under Sha Qinghu's shocked gaze, giant skeleton insects rose from the ground, some flying, some crawling, some spiders, some giant frogs, gathering behind her. It was like an army of the undead. Is this the legendary profession, the necromancer? Sha Qinghu had cold sweat on his forehead, but there was still a smile on his lips. Then I might as well act a little more seriously. Call. Countless cyan hurricanes emerged from his body, and Sha Qinghu's figure gradually turned into a violent wind. A sky-reaching tornado formed, spinning violently and making a whistling and sharp neighing sound. Sha Qinghu's proud voice came out from the storm, I am the incarnation of the storm. S-level talent, Storm Incarnation. Lin Qingyan, whose hair and clothes were blown by the strong wind, took a step forward with a cold expression and spoke calmly. Storms are prohibited here. Using her as the prototype, in the 10-meter defensive area, the strong wind suddenly stopped, creating a world of its own in the storm. In the huge cave, the wind howled. The 3 of them each occupy a side and compete with each other. Copy. The Lost Giant Tree. The 6th floor. Boom. Then a 10-meter-tall, silver-white giant mantis collapsed in front of him. Zhang Yuan also heard a ding in his ear. Ding. You kill the boss on the 6th floor, silver-backed sword mantis LV25 and gain experience plus 3,424. Ding. Your level has improved. Your current level is LV16, all attributes are +10, and you will gain free attribute points +10. Ding. Your points are +30, current points are 993. Ding. You kill the silver-backed sword beetle LV25 and obtain the high-level rare equipment, Silver Fang. Ding. You kill the silver-backed sword beetle LV25 and get the skill book, Yidao Style Armor Crack, Silver Slash. Ding. You kill the silver-backed sword beetle LV25 and obtain the material, Life Crystal Intermediate Level. Ding. You kill the silver-backed sword beetle LV25 and get the hidden item, Heart of Flower Market. Ding. You kill the silver-backed sword beetle LV25 and obtain the material, the silver-backed sword beetle's scythe. Ding. You kill. System prompts keep ringing. Zhang Yuan picked them all up in his backpack. It's not that he doesn't want to check, but the conditions don't allow it. Buzz. The magic circle on the ground lit up, and the wooden floor carried him upwards quickly like an elevator. Stop quickly. Ding. You have arrived at the 7th floor of the Lost Giant Tree, recommended level LV20 LV30. Arrived in new area. Zhang Yuan released the martial god clone that he had already recovered, and then he had time to check what he had just harvested. The biggest gain is undoubtedly the equipment and skill books. A piece of high-end and rare knife-type equipment can be sold for more than tens of millions in the star field. If there are special attribute entries, it will be even more expensive. With some excitement, Zhang Yuan used the appraisal. Silver Fang, advanced rare, one-handed weapon, when equipped, attack +25, attack speed +25, speed +20, critical hit +15, armor breaking +10, has a certain chance of causing armor breaking effect, durability 100/100ths, equipment requirements, LV15. 1 sword style, armor crack. Silver Slash intermediate skill book, active skill, warrior skill, cast after consuming 10% of physical strength, range 100 yards. Damage +180%, critical hit damage +120%, with severing, armor piercing, and serious injury effects, and the cooling time is 20 seconds. Learning conditions. LV15, strength over 500. The level is just enough. Zhang Yuan smiled. Study. Ding. You have learned the intermediate skill Yidao Style Armor Crack, Silver Slash. Then equip Silver Fang to evenly distribute the free attribute points. Zhang Yuan's attribute panel rose again. Tisk, 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 the current attribute panel looks scary to me. Second as long as you want at the 2nd level, and a few skills at the 3rd level. As long as I don't encounter level 4 elite monsters, I don't even need to use my talents. But in a copy of the college entrance examination, there should be no 4th level monsters. Zhang Yuan said, stretched out comfortably. By the way, there seems to be a hidden prop. Use identification again. Heart of Flower Ruins, hidden item, in a certain area on the 7th floor of the Lost Giant Tree, there is a mysterious place called Flower Ruins. It is rumored that an ancient secret is buried there, and this item is the key to unlocking the secret. 7th floor, Flower Market, secret. Zhang Yuan was a little surprised. There is actually a hidden map in the copy. Strange. Who designed this? Didn't think much about it. Put this item into the warehouse. After doing this, Zhang Yuan looked around. The 7th floor is different from the dark and humid poisonous insect environment on the lower floor. The light is bright, the air is dry, the plants are gorgeous and huge, and there is nothing unusual about it. Only, Zhang Yuan took a step forward. Whoa! The flowers on a giant vine bloomed, and a beam of light shot out with a whoosh. Zhang Yuan's left arm was hit, and his school uniform was torn. A red spot was exposed on his fair skin, and some white smoke came out. -99. You are attacked by elemental damage, defense -10. Even the ray attack of a 2nd-level plant beast could not break through the current Zhang Yuan's defense, which shows that his current defense is very high. After practicing the immortal body forging technique to the 11th position, the body's hardness has exceeded that of D-grade alloy, and it is so abnormal that it is unimaginable. Didn't care about the hurt. Zhang Yuan's expression was a little dazed. The god of war's clone was killed. Ding. Your martial god clone will feed you experience before disappearing. Your understanding of fire-breathing technique will be deepened. Your understanding of immortal body building technique will be deepened. Your understanding of the idea of observing the big sun and starry sky will be deepened. Your understanding of split sky shot will be deepened. Deepening of understanding. Did the beast do it, or the examinee? Zhang Yuan was a little curious. Although the martial god clone only has his attributes and 10% of his health, it is definitely not weak. When using martial arts, even a third-level ferocious beast is no match for it. Besides Lin Qingyan, are there any such people among the candidates? Zhang Yuan became somewhat interested. So far, not a single person has been seen in the places he has touched. The second-level ferocious beast, feared by countless candidates, has also been killed. It's a bit boring to pick up all the materials. It would be interesting if a good guy came out to block his journey of clearing the customs. If you have the strength, let's meet in the final place. Zhang Yuan thought to himself, took out the dark gold bone gun, and struck the air from a distance, cutting off the giant vine. Wow! In an instant, the originally peaceful area went into riot. The ground turned, and countless vines grew out to grab at Zhang Yuan. The surrounding trees began to twist and deform, turning into human-faced trees with legs, and the beautiful and gorgeous transformed into huge piranha flowers, full of sharp teeth. The terrifying big mouth pounced on Zhang Yuan. The originally beautiful scene suddenly turned into a drawing of hell in the plant world. Every monster is at the second level. Such a large number gather together to launch a sudden attack. Various skills come at them, and even a third-level warrior who has transferred to another class cannot resist them. Boom! Zhang Yuan took a step forward, and pale golden fire flames rose from the soles of his feet, flowing down his legs and up his body, lifting his bangs, revealing his indifferent and calm golden eyes. Shua! The dark golden bone gun drew a perfect arc in the air with golden firelight. One sword style, armor crack, silver slash. Several golden sword lights nearly 100 meters long swept across. The scroll of plants and beasts, which looks like a hell drawing, seemed to have been scratched by a burning knife several times, and several vertical and intersecting cracks appeared, and the golden flame spread along the cracks. Kacha! Boom! The bodies of the ferocious plant beasts were split in two, twisting and trying to regenerate, but golden flames were attached to the wounds. The flames kept burning and rising, causing them to let out shrill screams and howl into ashes in the flames. Ding! You killed the ogre flower LV-14 and gained 932 experience. Ding! You kill. Zhang Yuan was walking in the sea of fire with a dark gold bone gun, ashes scattered, and in the background were the charred remains of giant plants that collapsed. Move on. The monsters he encountered were eliminated by him. Some individual mutant monsters are also a matter of 1 or 2 moves. Zhang Yuan plundered all the ores, materials and life crystals that fell from them. 2 hours later, Zhang Yuan came to the hinterland of the 7th floor. As soon as he stepped into this area, he felt strong mental fluctuations not far away. He looked up. That is, Lost Giant Tree, 7th floor. Hoo. Luo Shi, who had purple hair and purple eyes, was holding her crutches, gasping for air, and staring straight ahead. Not far opposite her, there was a giant red dandelion floating gently in the air, shaped like a jellyfish. When the red dandelion swayed, and a disembodied bell sounded in the void. Luo Shi only felt that her spiritual field was hit hard by a giant hammer, shaking violently, and blood spilled from her nose. The figure of the red dandelion also changed from 1 to 4, then to 16, and became an unknown number, surrounding Luo Shi. Ha 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 ha. Childlike laughter came from all directions. Penetrating the mental barrier gave Luo Shi a splitting headache. How careless. I didn't expect that I would fall into a map trap and be transported to this ghost place. Luo Shi felt regretful. She also felt the danger of the hidden map for the first time. I thought I could push all the way with my S-level talent and epic spiritual profession, but in the end I underestimated the difficulty of training for the college entrance examination. The ferocious spiritual beast that I encountered before my eyes was definitely at the 3rd level. It was simply not something that she, who was still at the 1st level, could defeat. If she hadn't relied on the S-level talent Mingzhao to protect the spiritual realm, she would have become the other party's spiritual puppet and allowed herself to be controlled. But if this continues, sooner or later the mental realm will collapse. Hateful. Luo Shi bit her lower lip, relying on her inner pride to burn her mental power again and release the exclusive skill of Illusion Whisperer. Self-hypnosis. Through self-hypnosis through skills, she can forget all injuries for a short time, return to her peak state, and increase her mental power to 150%. However, the disadvantage is that after time passes, she will fall into a period of extreme weakness where she cannot use her mental power. A moment. Luo Shi returned to her peak state, her eyes sparkled with purple light, and she activated her talent. Dark Light plus Illusion Whisperer skill, Chain of Illusion. A black mirror appeared above and below the red dandelion. The upper mirror dropped spiritual shackles, binding the red dandelion. A black fire pillar spurted out from the black mirror below, burning the red dandelion. Boom. But the next second, all of this was completely shattered like a mirror, a flower in the water, a moon in the water. The intact figure of the red dandelion appeared in front of Luo Shi again, letting out a mocking laugh. Ha 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 ha. The mental barrier protecting Luo Shi was also completely shattered. Luo Shi was completely desperate, with a wry smile on her beautiful and pure face. Sure enough, this can only end here. She took out the teleportation stone and was about to crush it. The red dandelion flashed red. The white teleportation stone in Luo's eyes hand instantly turned into a white worm that felt extremely slippery and disgusting. She was so frightened that she let out a scream and threw it away. When she realized it was an illusion. It's too late. Buzz. The red dandelion suddenly released powerful spiritual fluctuations, spreading like ripples. Luo Shi was like a bug that broke into a spider's web, unable to move at all. She looked at the white teleportation stone on the ground not far away and stretched out her hand desperately, but it was difficult to reach it. It's over, it's over. Suddenly, the spiritual ripple spread out from the red dandelion suddenly and quickly retracted as if it had touched something. Luo Shi could even feel it let out a scream of pain and terror. Before she could react, red dandelion gave up on her already obtained prey, dispersed all her mental power, and chose to run away. Seems to it, there is a very threatening and terrifying creature approaching quickly. Luo Shi was surprised and puzzled, how on earth? Boom. A sudden coercion fell from the sky, and the surrounding trees, flowers and plants all bent down, as if they were surrendering or kneeling down. The red dandelion, which had not had time to escape, instantly stiffened and was unable to move, and had to release its mental power to resist. What is this? Luo Shi was frightened to the extreme. That terrifying pressure contained both martial arts and spiritual realms. It was extremely blazing, magnificent and powerful, covering the entire area. Tread, tread, tread. The footsteps kept getting closer. Like a thunder drum that shakes the heart, the biomagnetic field is extremely hot. Absolutely the regional boss. Absolutely. Luo Shi screamed in horror in her heart, not even daring to look up for fear of looking into the eyes of that creature. I am afraid that my already weak mental realm will completely collapse. Tread, tread. The terrifying creature kept approaching. Luo's eyes' delicate skin could even feel the hot, vast, majestic aura like the blazing sun. I won't be the first S-level candidate to die in the dungeon this year, right? Why am I so unlucky? I'm only 17 years old, and I haven't been in love yet. At least let me fall in love before I die. Luo Shi wailed in her heart, with crystal tears shining in the corners of her closed eyes. It's you. A somewhat familiar and surprising voice sounded in my ears. Luo Shi was stunned for a second, and a figure wearing a school uniform appeared. Is it his voice? No, it's impossible. It must still be an illusion. Seeing Luo's eyes tightly closed and unresponsive, Zhang Yuan was a little confused, and then looked at the red dandelion not far away that he had suppressed with mental coercion. Appraisal. Beasts of the Abyss, Scarlet Dandelion. Level, Elite. Level, LV22. Skills, Telekinesis, Illusion, Hypnotic Sound, Mental Pressure, Mental Parasitism, Hallucination Field. Evaluation. It feeds on the spiritual power of living things and reproduces through parasitism. It is a dangerous creature in the spiritual realm. As if aware of the danger, red dandelion became more and more restless. Buzz. Violent mental fluctuations came from red dandelion. When it broke free, it also caused a lot of substantial damage to its surroundings. Boom. With it as the center, the ground was plowed half a meter outward. Crack. The defensive accessory, single-sided glasses, worn by Luo Shi was completely shattered. She couldn't help but open her eyes during such changes. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.